bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Man, how you doing? Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. That's right, today's Wednesday, May 17th, 136 days into the new year, just 229 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Wednesday. Yeah, man, that means it's a special Fader night. Oh, yeah. We're going to have a few drive-bys from our friends, our Fadernauts, some guests, you know, stuff like that. We're going to open up the phone lines. We're doing Fader night tonight because tomorrow night we're taking off. So I'm giving you the heads up on that once again this week. Tomorrow night we'll be hanging out at the Joshua Tree Saloon with all of you. We'll be arriving in Joshua Tree tomorrow afternoon. Pretty much all packed up and ready to go. Excited. Contact in the Desert is this weekend. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black, Jimmy Church Radio, whatever. You know what to do. Go follow, like, and subscribe right now. Oh, man. What a crazy 24, 48 hours has been in this country, hasn't it? It's going to be good to get away, get out to Contact in the Desert. And, you know, the thing is, when Rita and I get away, like we're about to do with all of you, no news, right, for 4 straight days. That's no news. The only thing my cell phone will be used for is texting and phone calls. That's it. No, nothing. Totally disconnected and hanging out with family and the community and a really good time. That's what we do. The hotel rooms where we stay, TV never gets turned on. No signing on to Wi-Fi. No news of the world. I don't care what goes down. We're not going to find out about it. And that's great. Really, really look forward to that. Got to get away from this madness of this last 48 hours. Just absolute craziness. I mean, you know. So anyway, moving on from any of that. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is where we do it in the sandbox on Twitter. And then hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. And Rita just said no selfies. No, I'm not going to do any selfies. No. Well, I'll do selfies with Fadernauts. All right. I won't do selfies by myself or selfies with sucralose. No, okay, that's my commitment to you. Okay, no selfies. Hey, can I take one selfie from the stage, right? You know, all those rock stars do it. They turn around and they face the audience coming out, right? And then you do the, right? Maybe I'll do one of those. Welcome to everybody that's hanging out on the bunker cam. Oh, wow. And as you saw, the pandemonium going down here, leading right up to showtime. Oh, man, it's Fader night, man. It's Fader night. Opening up the phone lines. We got 2 phone lines for Fader night. And we'll get to those in just a second and open up the phone lines. Now, this is what I've got only, if I would have done, we do what? We do 3 hours. So if I did like 6 drive-bys, the next thing you know, there's no time for phone calls. And that's not what I want to do tonight. I want the Fadernauts to call in. If you are going to Contact in the Desert and prepping and getting ready, and listen to the show as you're packing your bags and you're getting ready to fly out tomorrow, maybe tonight, maybe you're driving, I don't know. Maybe you're halfway across the country right now and you're listening to the show. Call in. We want to hear from you. Okay? Seriously, this is your night. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So we've got a few friends that are going to drive by and say hello to all of you, and those are all going to be very, very brief phone calls. Okay? All right, so who it is and what and when, we've got it all scheduled. Most of the people that we've got scheduled to call in tonight are traveling. Okay? They're actually traveling, so we're trying to pull that off. If it does happen, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're talking about airports, planes, trains, and automobiles going down right now. Okay? So that's it. It's Fader Night. It's open lines. We have 2 phone lines tonight. 323-825-5045. And we have 323-275 9695. Those are the 2 phone numbers. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. 2 pretty cool phone numbers that just kind of roll off the tongue, don't they? All right. Now, let's just get a couple of things out of the way. Obviously, we're on our way to Contact in the Desert. That is tomorrow. If you're going to be a late arrival there, tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com and Contact in the Desert. We've got 3 events going on this weekend. We'll be talking about that all night tonight. Moving on off of that, we will be at the ECETI Ranch for their 4th of July seminar and conference, Science, Spirit, and World Transformation. Tickets and info over at ECETI.org. We will get that up in Twitter here shortly. All right. Now, and we just confirmed Corey's conference in August. We put up the links for that last night. That's going to be at Mount Shasta, August 19th, and I will be emceeing that event, and I look forward to everybody hanging out up there. Man, yeah, Mount Shasta, right? During the eclipse. Think about that. Mount Shasta during the eclipse. Man, that's close. That's Steven Spielberg stuff right there. All right, let's get the show cracking. Got a lot to get to tonight. Happy birthday to today. Enya is 56 years old. And I like Enya. Always did. Very cool stuff. And it allowed her to buy the half of Ireland that Bono doesn't own. Think about that for a second. Also today from over the pond, Craig Ferguson today is 55. And Trent Reznor today is 52. Our dead guy's birthday today is Bill Paxton. Yeah, trip on that, huh? 1955 to 2017. Each year on this day, I've always enjoyed talking about Bill and weird science and his role as Chet. You know what I mean? Who would have thought that this year he would be our dead guy's birthday? Absolutely crazy. Died at the age of 61 back in February. Blew everybody's mind. Little complication for heart surgery. And the next thing you know, right? Oh, man. And you know he had the best doctors and the best hospital and the best consultation, and he knew what was going on. And with all of that, right, just something that was nearly routine, and he dies at the age of 61. There you go. One of the greats, Bill Paxton. Really good in that show, Big Love, too, as well. You know, and then you have, Twister, right? Titanic. Oh, man. Aliens. Oh, man. Bill Paxton. There you go. 1955 to 2017. On this day in history, OTD. On May 17th, 1970. I remember this like it was yesterday for some reason. Thor Heyerdahl and his crew set out from Morocco across the Atlantic in the Ra 2. You remember that? a papyrus sailboat modeled after ancient Egyptian sailing vessels. And Heyerdahl was attempting to prove his theory that Mediterranean civilizations sailed to America in ancient times and exchanged info and cultures with people of Central and South America. The Ra-2 crossed the 4,000 miles of ocean to Barbados in 57 days. And I remember the documentary. And that's 1970. The documentary is probably 71. So I was 8 years old, I guess. 8, 9, 8. I was a kid. I remember seeing the documentary on TV. And the boat, the Ra-2, was sinking. Remember that? The Papyrus had just gotten so waterlogged at that point. But it made it. It made it. And it proved that, the boat could make it. And I think we all agree that Egypt made it all around the world, let alone to Barbados and Central and South America. Fate or fact, in New Jersey, this is a fact, and it's been vetted. Always vet, right? That's what we were talking about last night, right? Always vet. Oh, I like the little Enya gift. That's pretty cool. There she is. She lives in a castle now. You should see the property that she has over there in Ireland. The rolling hills, the forest, the ferries. Pretty incredible. Anyway, where she lives, those lawn gnomes are real. They're actually real dudes. They're a foot tall, and they maintain the property over there. In New Jersey, it's illegal to wear a bulletproof vest while committing a violent crime. And that's a fact. Tonight, it's a very special Fader night. Yes. We're going to have a few friends stop by and hang out for a few minutes. And the rest of it is going to be all of you Fader nights. Tomorrow night, we're taking the night off. And we have announced it. So it's not that secret of a deal, right? If you're going to be in Joshua Tree, go and find the Joshua Tree Saloon. That's all you got to do. Somehow find parking, walk in the door, and look at all the shirts. That's all you got to do. And that'll be tomorrow night. I don't know exactly what time we're going to arrive there, but, you guys will probably be in full swing by the time that we do. But that's what we're going to do tomorrow night, okay? And then Friday night, we're going to broadcast live from Contact in the Desert. Now, check this out. What I'm about to lay on to you was posted on WikiLeaks. And it's guaranteed to confirm your worst nightmare. Whatever that nightmare may be, it's probably what I'm about to read to you. Right? And it's going to confirm it. It's crazy. So I'm just going to lay it out like this. This is the title of the telegram, the post, the cable, the top secret cable. And the title at the top of said cable says these words: alerting GOR of delivery of seized HEU during September 21st FBI director's trip to Moscow. The date, 2009, August 17th, 1956. That is the time on a Monday. The ID of the cable is after that, ID 09 state 85588_A. Original classification, secret. Current classification, secret. And the cable is long, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. But number 6, the cable's numbered, and paragraph number 6 says this. It says, secret related Russia. Action request. Embassy Moscow is requested to alert at the highest appropriate level the Russian Federation that FBI Director Mueller, right? Okay. Plans to deliver the HEU sample once he arrives to Moscow on September 21st. Post is requested to convey information in paragraph 5, I'll get to that in a second, with regard to chain of custody, and to request details on Russian Federation's plan for picking up the material. Embassy has also requested to reconfirm the April 16th understanding from the FSB, the Russian Security Service, verbally, that we will have no problem with the Russian Ministry of Aviation concerning Mueller's September 21st flight clearance. Holy crap. I mean, what is going on there, right? Here's the response. This is paragraph number 7. Post is requested to deliver the following talking points. We wish to inform you that FBI Director Mueller plans to arrive in Moscow on the evening of September 21st with a 10-gram sample of seized HEU, which you requested for nuclear forensics analysis. Holy crap. Now, I need you to digest just for a second. I need you to sit back and contemplate what I just read to you. It's one of the most holy crap things I can do. Right? Well, you thought so. Let me continue. First, what is HEU? 10 grams of it seized. And why is it so important that Mueller is going to take this seized HEU to Moscow, where he has to meet with their security services, right? And get a flight clearance for something that needs to have clearance, and they want to make sure that the flight's not going to get interrupted. What is HEU? Well, here you go. HEU, my friends, is highly enriched uranium. It is the fissile uranium in a nuclear weapon primary. That's what it is. That's right. The critical component for a nuclear bomb. Now you have to ask yourself, when was it seized? It was seized. How do you see? What is going on here? When was it seized? From whom? From whom do you seize highly enriched uranium? I need you to really, really think about what I am saying here. And why is it being taken back to Moscow? Was it stolen? Was it stolen in Moscow or Russia? Maybe. Was it made in Russia? Maybe. Was it bought? It was seized. So was it bought? Was it some kind of drug deal of nuclear material? Because that's what you do, right? Seize drugs. Seize highly enriched uranium. Wait a minute here. Has this ever happened in history? Has there been a deal that has gone down with weapons-grade uranium that was somehow thwarted, caught, maybe a car was pulled over, whatever, and highly enriched uranium was seized? It was in the hands of somebody that was out to build a nuclear... Wait a minute here. That's a movie, right? That's a movie. Now, back to the cable. Are you tripping right now? Are you tripping? Okay, listen to this. The cable says, background. Over 2 years ago, Russia requested a 10-gram sample of a highly enriched uranium that was seized in early 2006 in Georgia. Russia, Georgia, Ukraine. The seized HEU, it also points out here, it was seized during a nuclear smuggling sting operation involving one Russian national and several Georgian accomplices. The seized, highly enriched uranium was transferred to U.S. custody, strange, and is being held at a secure Department of Defense facility. In response to the Russian request, the Georgian government authorized the United States to share a sample of the material with the Russians for forensic analysis. Director Mueller previously planned to deliver the sample in April, but due to a scheduling conflict, the trip was canceled. Embassy Moscow Legat informed the FSB prior to Mueller's intended April delivery and received confirmation that the FSB would take custody of the sample after the director's plane landed. It's a movie, man. It's a movie. Moscow also informed Rosatom of the planned transfer and that the United States placed a high priority on completing this transfer. Once the Legat told FSB counterparts that April trip had been canceled, Ambassador Beryl informed Igor Neverov, who said that he understood but was disappointed the trip was postponed. The September 21st visit provides, again, an opportunity to deliver the requested 10-gram sample from the seized HEU in order to obtain cooperation from the GOR on this nuclear smuggling case and to eventually establish a more productive mechanism of U.S.-Russian cooperation on nuclear forensics. Paragraph number 3. While there was a reasonable exchange of information with the Russian security services at the time of the 2006 seizure, we have poor cooperation investigating the diversion of HEU, which the United States believes was stolen from a Russian facility. Russia did not respond to papers that then-acting United States RUD provided Deputy Foreign Minister Ryabkov in December 2008, reiterating that the USG position, that United States government, that Russia would pick up this sample in the United States. Further, when asked for an update on their response to our proposal, he told us in early 2009 in Washington that there was an interagency dispute over who would come and pick up the material. Number 4. Given Russia's reluctance to act so far, FBI Mueller's delivery of this sample will underscore to Russia our commitment to follow through on this case. While some details related to the sharing of information on smuggling networks may be too sensitive to discuss, delivery of the sample could enable us to discuss whether Russian authorities investigated the diversion and prosecuted anyone. Moreover, we hope it will spark discussions on mechanisms to exchange information and material on future incidents of this nature, particularly in the light of the commitments made in the July summit United States-Russia joint statement on nuclear cooperation. And this is regarding the strengthening of our cooperation to stop acts of nuclear terrorism. Post should note that the Department of Energy and the NNSA's April 2009 determination authorizing distribution of the sample to the Russian Federation only for attribution of the sample in support of criminal investigation and is applicable to the proposed 21st September delivery of the sample to Russia. Now, on April 16th, the FSB verbally confirmed that we will have no problem with the Russian Ministry of Aviation concerning Mueller's flight, although we probably won't see paperwork until shortly before the trip. The FBI is requiring that authority, as opposed to an intelligence service or technical authority, pick up the sample. A representative from the responsible Russian law enforcement authority who will accept custody of the sample must be identified and verified ahead of time. That individual will be required to have signatory authority to accept the sample. Appropriate arrangements need to be made to ensure the transfer of the material is conducted at the airport, planeside, upon arrival of the director's aircraft. Post should also remind the GOR that this is the material about which the GOR gave the U.S. government non-proliferation assurances in 2008 in a diplomatic note from February 2008. as before, we require confirmation that a representative from a responsible Russian law enforcement authority will be available to accept custody of the sample and have signatory authority to accept the sample. We require that the transfer of this material be conducted at the airport on the tarmac nearby the plane. Unbelievable. How crazy is this? This is the gnarliest movie ever, but it's true. Now, clearly, sting operation, okay, all right, that's scary enough. The fact that it actually went down and that material was stolen from a Russian facility, highly enriched uranium, and somebody was there to buy it. Somebody stole it, somebody was there to buy it. And then it was seized. Were we there to buy it? Were we posing as the agents? Did we break into the facility and steal it and turn around and try to sell it to criminals? Either or, that's what happened in this sting operation. I don't know which version is true. But nonetheless, the material was stolen. And this is the only stolen highly enriched uranium that we know about. How many times has this happened? How many times? How many times have we stopped somebody from getting this? Does somebody have something now? Think about that. It's the craziest Wikileaks ever. I don't care. After reading this, I don't care about Snowden. I don't. Chelsea Manning released from prison today wearing black Converse Chuck Taylors, right? You saw the feet, right? I don't care about that. This is insane. And it's also Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back with a very special guest to kick off this show. So, and I'm going to try to pull this one off. It's going to be interesting. You'll see. You'll see. Just relax. Relax, everybody. Because when we come back, you know what? I might as well just tell you now. We're going to do a simulcast with Clyde Lewis. He's live right now with Ground Zero. We're live right now with Fade to Black. Now we got to connect the dots and get live on both shows at the same time. We'll pull it off. Sit tight. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fader-Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. It's a very special Wednesday night broadcast tonight of Fader Night. So we're going to open up the phone lines in a little bit, and I just announced right before the break that we are going to join Clyde Lewis. He's going to join us, and we're going to do a little simulcast. We've done this a few times over the years. So right now, Ground Zero is live. We are live, and we need to coordinate things and somehow wind up together. And I think as our music dies down and we come out of this break, Clyde should be in about 15 seconds coming out of his break, and then we'll join each other at the hip. Let's see where Clyde is right. See, he's still in commercial break. So I'll bring that down just a little bit, and we'll let that sit there. And it's 5 seconds. So there we go. Any second now, Clyde will end his station break and then join us. Clyde will be at Contact in the Desert. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And I do want to remind everybody, the schedule of events is it's going to be back to back at Contact in the Desert. So do remember that Friday night we're going to broadcast live from the Lotus Room, which is behind the sanctuary. Our booth, the Fade to Black booth, will be in front of the sanctuary, front and center at the corner, where we were last year, but actually facing the main walkway there. Okay, so that's that. That'll be Friday night, 7 o'clock at the Lotus Room. Saturday, I've got a few things that I'll be doing throughout the day. We'll announce that. And then Saturday night at 7 p.m., we will be doing our panel at the amphitheater. And that's the Forbidden Archaeology panel. Sunday night, we're doing another. Also, Saturday night, there's 2 events that are going on after our panel ends at 9 o'clock. I want to remind everybody of. One, there's going to be a huge thing going on at the amphitheater immediately following the panel. And I will be joining briefly on stage. Victoria, she starts the presentation there. What it is, I'm not allowed to speak about, but it is going to be extraordinary. So there's that. And then Melinda Leslie is doing her night vision down the hill where we were last year on Saturday night. So we will head out and go join Melinda Leslie Saturday night for the night vision. And then Sunday night, we will...
Is on the line.
Clyde.
Yes, Jimmy Church. How you doing, buddy?
I just have to say this, Clyde. Clyde, my man. My man.
You are the man.
No, Clyde.
We outlow each other.
You're the man. How low can we go? So,
Luke, I am your father. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's up?
Clyde, welcome to the show. And you can just say, Jimmy, welcome, and then we'll get those out of the way. Let's do the...
Jimmy, welcome to Ground Zero. You're on Ground Zero with me, and
And
where am I?
Clyde, welcome to Fade to Black, another simulcast. You know what's fun for this, for our audiences, Clyde, is this is probably the third time that we have done this in 3 years. Very, very cool. And it is also very rare in broadcast that the audience really gets to see a couple of hosts that are on the air at the same time that are friends, and we actually enjoy each other's. This is not a fictitious thing. And
no, I mean, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people in the biz that, when we're off, we're all buds, and we talk about strategies, and sometimes we don't even talk about that. We just talk about really weird things. And I've known you for a while, and as a matter of fact, I was impressed with a lot of your research, and I had to give you a call because I thought, if the research is done by this guy, I got to have him on, and I'm not going to, I want him to get some credit for this research. And it was that Malibu UFO base, the underwater UFO base at Point Dume.
Right.
And that was an amazing show we did together, a simulcast that we did.
And that was so many years ago now. Where did it's crazy how the time flies by, Clyde. And this thing that we do together, which is collect knowledge and hang out with our audience every single night. This community of ours, Clyde, is growing, isn't it?
It is. And I think what's really awesome about what you do and what I do is that we are stirring up a new guard. We're stirring up a new group of people. There's already built-in audience, we know, but there are a lot of people still that have no idea what we're talking about and want to have an idea of what we're talking about and why we talk about what we talk about and how strange the world is in reality, and anything from parapolitics to paranormal to some of the more stranger things that happen on a day-to-day basis.
And speaking about that, with Contact in the Desert, last year you were there for the first time. It was, I think, the third or fourth year of Contact. And what an extraordinary event. Our booths, oddly enough, everybody, were facing each other last year. So Clyde and I got to stare at each other for a couple of days.
Longingly.
Yes, longingly. We traded some nice T-shirts, though. That's what we did.
Yes, we did. We traded T-shirts and hung out with Giorgio Tsoukalos and all kinds of other crazy stuff that we did. And I did your show, and it was amazing to be on your show, to be on, talking with you and several other distinguished guests. We had a great panel together. And this year is going to be even better when we go to Contact. I'll be in there. I'll be tomorrow arriving there in the afternoon. So I'll be in the vicinity there. And then, of course, we have a whole bunch of stuff that's going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with panels and speaking engagements. This year, I just wanted to let you know, Jimmy, we're going to do the Black Cube. Oh, Roger Cluton is bringing the Black Cube on the plane, and we're getting out there. So it's going to be a dimensional conversation.
You guys are going to be summoning with the cube?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, live. Okay. All right. All right.
Yes, we are.
Earlier, Clyde, you were asking me, you said, let's do dinner tomorrow night.
Yes.
Every year, so I'm going to extend the invitation to you now live on the radio so you and Roger and Ron can't get out of this, which is tomorrow night at the Joshua Tree Saloon. We get together with the Fadernauts and we take the place over. And it's right across the street from the facilities there. It's right there. And the great thing about it is tomorrow we have to do go do the speakers, get together that they do every year.
Yes.
But then after that, we head across the street to the Joshua Tree Saloon. So you need to come out. And what's really cool, the Fadernauts are Clyde Lewis fans, right? It is just one big community.
They're interchangeable. And I've worn my Fade to Black shirt on many occasions when I do my live Facebook Live. I wear the shirt proudly. So.
Well, everybody thinks it's you on the shirt, but that's okay. Clyde, so what?
Really?
Okay, so what? You're going to be hosting a couple of panels. I know you're going to do the Black Cube, and then I think Saturday morning. Did I see it right? Do you have Jacques Vallée on your panel?
Yeah. I am nervous. I am nervous to tell. I mean, I've interviewed the greats, Whitley Strieber, Linda Moulton Howe. I've done all of the greats, but this guy is
Right
probably.
There.
Yeah. He is the man. He's the Neil deGrasse Tyson of UFOs. He is most definitely. He's been around a long time, and I have said before that Francois Truffaut, the man who was, I think that was his name, the actor
who played him,
or actually he played the French scientist in Close Encounters,
right?
And it's based on Jacques Vallée.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interviewing. This is one of the big dogs in the UFO community,
and
I'm very nervous about it.
Yeah,
so there you go.
That's a bucket list right there. And this is the thing.
Well, yeah.
This is the thing, Clyde. I've said this about Jacques many times. Look into his eyes. Look, when you're there, just look into his eyes. Think about what I'm about to say to you. He's an alien.
Okay.
He's an alien. He's an alien.
You think he's an alien?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think Jacques got some altered DNA. You know, so just trip. He's so alive, you know, and you just look at his eyes. It's crazy, the intelligence that is there. So you're going to do that panel, and what's that panel about?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, whatever he decides to talk. I mean, look, you're sitting. It's like, you know, it's like doing an interview with John Lennon. I mean, what do you say? Hi, John. What are you going to talk about? Hi, Jacques. What are you going to talk about?
Oh man, thing. Yeah. That's a really, really big get. Good for you on that one. Well, we're going to broadcast Friday night, and I'm sure you'll. If you're not broadcasting, you can stop by, of course, and hang out.
Actually, this year, I'm not broadcasting. I'm not doing a broadcast, so I'm going to be free to just basically bounce around and just basically invade your show,
right.
And that'd be cool. I'd love to be on your show.
Yeah, so that's Friday night we're broadcasting. Saturday night we're doing a panel. I'm announcing this to your audience that is going to be there. Saturday night I'm doing the Forbidden Archaeology panel with Hancock and Bavall and the correct crowd, Andrew Collins and. That's good.
What about Tellinger? Is he going to be in there for that? Because Michael's awesome.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to be there at Contact this year. I don't think he's going to do this panel, but he will be on the show with us on Friday night. He does that every year with us.
He's an amazing guy. I went to one of his. I just went to one of his get-togethers. He came through Portland, and the guy was just so amazing that I had to just talk to him afterwards and. He gave me his home phone number. We became good friends, but he's a good guy. I love Michael. He's awesome.
And he's always wearing that Fade to Black shirt. You know, so it flips me out when I see that.
Did you know what really freaked him out? Tell him that you knew that he was a pop icon in Africa when he lived in Africa, or he still lives in Africa. But I'm just saying he was a pop rock star, kind of like
Johnny Bravo.
David Bowie maybe, or like maybe Adam Ant. He was kind of like that back then.
I could see it, Clyde. Yeah. I really could.
Yeah.
And the other thing is not only Contacting the Desert, but last year, as you recall, all those crazy sightings were out there last year.
Yes.
So that'll be going on each night with Melinda Leslie and her night vision thing. So you need to come over and hang out with us and peer to the heavens, man, because it's a guaranteed sighting, like you're up at ESETI at James Gilliland's, but it's right there in Joshua Tree.
Yeah, he's even going to be there. James Gilliland's going to be there.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember running into Nick Redfern in the airport. So, I mean, there's so many people that, that I've interviewed or I've talked with or I've seen in books that, you go to the airport and there they are. They're all getting their baggage and you just don't want to say, hey, aren't you?
It's hard
you
not
just don't want to do that.
Right. It's hard not to be a fanboy. It really is. It really is, because I respect, and so do you, and all of them. And you interview and you do this, but it's a whole other thing when you can just hang out and talk about the weather and family and just do your thing and not do the interview. It's one of the coolest things about it. That
and desert stink and unshaven and that, you really get to know a person, and I'm sorry. I don't know why I brought that up, but I did. Like everybody's unkempt when you're at, it's like the Burning Man for UFO people. We're like unkempt, and the only person that was really, that looked really good was Stanton Friedman. Remember? Last year?
Yeah,
he was in his suit and his tie, and it was 127 degrees. The guy didn't even break a sweat. Talk about your aliens. Stan Friedman didn't even break a sweat. He still looks good, and he's in his 80s, and he just had a heart attack. Can you believe that?
Yeah, and the other guy, if you remember, sitting off to your left, Stanton was next to me across from Clyde, everybody, sitting there in the sun. Eventually, we had a tent. You remember? We had the thing.
Yes.
And so Stanton just inched his way down all nonchalantly until he was in the shade. It was pretty funny. It was like,
right.
But anyway, it was Don Schmidt last year. The perfect hair, the suit and tie. Everybody else is running around in sandals, but Don will not. He has to be in public in a suit and tie and his hair perfectly coiffed.
Don Schmidt is the most attractive man in UFOdom. I'll just tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And I tell him all the time. I say, you are the most attractive man. And he always laughs.
Well,
even when I saw him in Roswell, I just got off a plane and I was all disheveled. They were shoving green chili cheeseburgers in my face at McDonald's, and he's just sitting there all smiling with nice hair and a tie. I'm thinking, this guy's got to run for president. They'll just vote for him because, he looks like Sylvester Stallone. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he sells a lot of books, but he makes most of his money off of his fine line of hair products. Clyde, I love you, man. I love you. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow night, and everybody at Ground Zero.
Don's going to love it when we tell him about his hair product line that we just told him he does. He's going to love it.
I want a piece of it.
I do too. I'm going to ask him for his hair. We got to just come up to it and says, Mr. Schmidt, can we have your hair, please? We want your hair.
It's trained. Clyde, it's trained. I don't even think he has to comb it. He just tells it what to do.
Yeah, just go in line and it does. He's like Fonzie. Anyway.
Safe travels. Safe travels, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Too. Jimmy, we'll see you at Contact in the Desert. Thank you for calling in and being part of the show tonight.
You got it, Clyde. Be safe. Clyde.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
You got it, Clyde. Clyde Lewis, everybody. Ground Zero. And so there you go. I'll open up the phone lines really quick. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. One of the great things about Clyde, cool dude, cool dude. But one of the great things about him is you just sit down and start talking. He lives and breathes the paranormal. I mean, it is in his blood. He is not artificial, and I will always say that about Clyde Lewis. Very, very cool, very intelligent guy. But man, when it comes to ufology and the paranormal, that's it. That's it. And he's going to be doing the cube. I can't believe it. So I think what they're going to do is they are going to summon live on stage. So there you go. I might have to show up for that one. That's going to be really cool. Okay. All right, Fadernauts, 323-825-5045, 323-275-9695. And I wanted to mention a couple of things that are pretty trippy. Number one, this is some breaking news that was released today. And I've got to get this out there to you because it's absolutely extraordinary. Blackened and irregular. That's right. The prehistoric beads found in a centuries-old Illinois grave don't look like anything special. You have to see them. But the latest analysis shows that they were fashioned from shards of a meteorite that fell to Earth about 350 miles, 700 kilometers, 350 miles from where the beads were found. Now, the link between the Unacknowledged meteorite, which landed in central Minnesota, and the beads confirms that 2,000 years ago, goods and ideas were moving hundreds of miles across eastern North America. The beads were made by people from the Hopewell culture, which flourished in the United States Midwest between 100 BC to 400 AD. Now, the epicenter of the Hopewells was Ohio, but obviously spread to Minnesota, the Mississippi, right? Think about that for a second. A meteorite 2,000 years ago. It's an absolutely amazing discovery. The grave itself was discovered 200 years ago, but they never went back and studied. Now they haven't broke it down. The Indians, the meteorites, when you look at the beads, I can tell. I know what a meteorite looks like, and it's always spectacular. They didn't know. They just knew it looked cool, right? And they made these beads 2,000 years ago. Just, it blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. We'll get the images up here in a second. Now, also, one of the things that we talk about a lot on this show is Malmstrom Air Force Base. And Malmstrom, thank you. Thank you, Mark, for posting that. Look at these beads, everybody. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, or I'm sorry, go to our Twitter feed at jchurchradio, and then do hashtag F2B. It'll pop up right there, and you can see it. Look at these. Are those absolutely incredible? Look at that. Meteorite beads, 2,000 years old. In a grave. Yeah, pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Back to Malmstrom Air Force Base. Okay. Famous for the ICBM Minuteman shutdown in the missile silos. Now, Malmstrom Air Force Base is part of our missile shield, our missile defense system, nuclear weapons in North America that would shoot over the North Pole and into wherever we needed them to go to. And hundreds of silos across that part of the country. And Malmstrom Air Force Base has a big chunk of those missile silos, underground setups. Well, anyway, back in 1967, happened a couple of times, but 67, 68, when Robert Salazar was there, and he's been on this show before, a UFO was sighted over the base, described as an orange disc and craft, and some described it as a ball, and it was seen over a few of the missile silos there. Anyway, over the main entrance of Malmstrom, not the main entrance of Malmstrom, the main entrance of one of these missile silo complexes was a UFO. Now, it was sighted by the security team, who then turned around and called down into the silo and said, "We've got something out here over the main gate." And at that moment, the systems shut down, one missile after another. And you have a long string of green lights, which means the missiles are active, right, and good to go. And each one of these went from green to red, click, click, and went offline. The trippy part about all of this is back then, you have to remember the computer systems were different, obviously not as sophisticated, but also different. And a lot of what was done back then was hardwired, an analog type of electrical system. You were flipping switches. You had direct lines and wires that are connecting things. So for a missile to go offline, it wasn't necessarily a central computer system or an operating system that went down. We're talking about hardwired setups, right? Fail-safe setups. Hardwired. Flip a switch, on and off. Keys, on and off. Well, all of the missiles went offline. To this day, we don't know exactly what went down, but nonetheless, that was at Malmstrom Air Force Base. Today, here in the United States, we have a thing called fracking. Now, our missile defense system, those ICBMs, are part of our nuclear triad, nuclear defense setup that we have. That's one of them. And what's interesting here, we have the bombers, right? We have the B-52s and the B-2s and the B-1s. That's one leg of the triad. Another leg of the triad is the ICBMs, and the third part of the triad are submarine launched, right? Missiles. So that's our nuclear triad. The Malmstrom setup, and that part of the country's setup and that part of the triad is very, very important. Very important to keep online. Now, why would I be talking about fracking? Stay with me on this. The fracking boom in those wide open spaces that I'm talking about, where all of these missiles are in this remote part of the United States, is now causing a challenge for the crews that man those intercontinental ballistic missile sites. They have to be manned. Think about what I'm saying here. There is so much fracking now going on in the United States that it is causing traffic problems. That's right. We have hired so many people up there. The streets are jammed with equipment, heavy equipment, trucks, cars, people, that the crews that are manning the missile sites can't get to work. Over the past decade, and this is according to the general in charge of the Air Force Global Strike Command, that's because over the past decade, natural gas extraction, including its influx of drilling crews and truck traffic and heavy traffic, has spread across those very same states where the 20th Air Force maintains its nuclear missile sites. Air Force missile operators and maintainers at those facilities, such as Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, drive hours and hours for shifts at these remote sites, and they have to do this 8 to 10 times per month. Think about what I am saying. You need to show up for a shift change and you're hours late, and things got to be on schedule. This is a no-joke situation that I'm talking about. And you're going to show up 4 hours late and tell them that you were stuck in traffic. Why? Because of fracking. And this is where I trip. Think about this now. Could fracking be derailed not because of earthquakes, not because of environmental issues, not because it's polluting our water tables, not any of that, because our nuclear crews can't get to work on time? And you know what? It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, isn't it? Right? Think about this for a second. So, what do you want to have? Do you want to have the missile silos manned for Armageddon? Or do you want fracking to continue? It looks like we can't have both. And with that, this is Fade to Black. That's why I love you guys. You actually think about this, though. Is that a trip or what? That is, I never would have thought that fracking met its match. And when it comes to Washington, D.C. and the military-industrial complex, does that trump, no pun intended, is that the trump card over oil money? Right? And we're watching both of them go head-to-head right now. This is Fade to Black. It's Fader Night, 323-825-5045, or 323-275-9695. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Texting live on the air. Watching me do it. Got to get it done, man. You got to get her done. All right, let's see here. Jimmy suggested I asked here how to access the bunker cam. Just go to the website, go into the membership area, and click on Bunker Cam. I believe that's how you do it, right? Man, I've never done it. I can't watch myself, right? That would, I wonder if I can actually pull that off. That would be weird. Let's see. I could mute it. Let me see. Hold on. That's interesting. Let's see. So you go here. I'm clicking on the website, right? I'm going to memberships. Member login. Yes, I'm here. Yep, there it is. I have my own account. Let's see here. Okay. So here, okay. I'm on my own site. Can you believe this? This is crazy. Okay, so let's go to Bunker Cam. It's right here. Bunker Cam. It can't be any easier than that. God, is that what I look like? Oh, man. Bunker Cam is too high. It needs to be lower. It needs to be more like this. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm done. Let's see if that moves. What's the delay here? So, about 10 seconds. Okay. You guys are crazy. All right. Anyway, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. And we're waiting for a couple of other friends to drop by too as well. So I'll wait for those to come in. And a couple of things really quick. All right. Wow. That's a trip. Okay. Is this coming off of this fracking story, and one of the trippy things that I talk about a lot here is the perils and dangers of journalism. Journalists around the world, and it doesn't matter if you do radio, if you do television, if you do print, it doesn't matter. if you have a press pass, you have something that says media, you should be protected, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a criminal, if you're ISIS, if you are the banking industry, wherever you are walking around, the red carpet, you're even part of the paparazzi, right? You have a little shield around you, or you should. But journalism today is getting more and more treacherous. Those out there that take the chances and try to be responsible to talk about things that are going on in their community or their country, whatever it may be, it is starting to become a job that nobody wants. And I had spoken last month or the month before about a newspaper in Mexico that just literally decided to shut down because it was just too dangerous to keep the newspaper running. That had been in print for 30 years with a large circulation that a large part of the community is there for to get their information on the community in their city. Well, Mexican journalist Javier Valdez, who's known for his reporting on drug trafficking and organized crime, was just shot and killed. This happened on Monday in the northwest state of Sinaloa, and authorities reported that he was on a busy street in broad daylight when an unidentified car, pulls up and attackers jump out and just open fire on his car. Nobody caught. The state processes in front of everybody. Traffic. The state prosecutor later told reporters that a dozen bullets were found at the scene of the crime. And at the time he was killed, he's a very famous guy, and he wore this straw hat, right? And he was shot in his car wearing that straw hat, and he was just a journalist out there just writing. And it's tragic. I don't get it. I don't get it. When you look at the old, I want to welcome back to the program our good friend Mike Bara doing a drive-by. Mike, how are you? Mike, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, don't freak me out, Bara. When you do that moment of silence thing. It's live radio, man. You got to be ready. I'm ready, and I get the silence, and it's just like, okay, here we go. And I got to go chase things down. And I think it's me, right? So I'm here pushing buttons, trying to figure it out, and then it always...
Yeah, it's kind of like the teenage years, right? Where, there was a lot of... let's not even make the analogy. Let's go on.
Well, the funny part about it is 100% of the time, it's the guest. But I don't know that. I need to confirm it's not me on my end, right? Right. I'm looking at screens. I'm pressing buttons. I got to make sure. And, you've been to the bunker. This is a complicated setup that we have here.
And I'm sure that you've probably made a mistake maybe once. So it's like, oh my God, what if I made it again? What if I did a rookie mistake? Right. It's got to be a terrible thing.
Right. And that's the rookie mistake that always comes to mind. Well, let me tell you what happened on Monday. Freeman Fly. I'm on Freeman's show. He's out on the East Coast, and so I'm doing his show as I'm a guest for once, right? I'm doing his show, right. And we kept losing my audio, but I could hear myself. And as it turned out, because we have such a complicated setup here, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm boasting. What I'm saying is we just have a frigging complicated setup here to make the show happen the way we do. And so there's many feeds that are going on at the same time. So if I hear myself, that just means that the microphone is connected, and that is going to the headphone feed, and the interfaces are working correctly, and I'm looking at meters that are running, but that doesn't necessarily mean my feed coming out to him, of which I've got 4 feeds running at the same time, is not working. I don't know if it's him but so it turned out to be a cable. And it took us a while to suss that out. Finally, I said, dude, we got to stop the interview. And I opened up a couple of cabinets, had a replacement cable, brand new, and boom, plugged it in, fixed. Now, the cable that I replaced was new. Now, we're going back to the rookie mistake point, right? Who would ever check a brand new cable? You're not
nobody.
Nobody.
You plugged it in, right?
Why would you do it, right? But I wiggled it, and he goes, "Oh, I got you back." That? It's that. So anyway, I replaced the cable. Boom, fine, done. Everything is cool. But with you doing this right now, after what I just went through with Freeman, makes me go and just wiggle cables, man. It's just like, and I shouldn't have to do that. Anyway, Mike.
Well, remember, Jimmy, they had a test they did at Particle Accelerator where they had a particle that went faster than light, and they came back and said, "Oh no, it was just a loose cable." They never told us which cable it was or how it affected the test. But
yes, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah,
and they admitted it. I would have made something up at that point.
They did make it up. The part about it being a loose cable was what they made up. Come on.
Well, see, but maybe that was the truth, and they shouldn't have. Shouldn't they? Something more extreme, right? Like the plasma gas generators, right? I'd rather hear that story, right?
Yeah.
But, man, it's good to hear your voice. You haven't been on the show in quite a while. You've been out there busy doing your thing. You've got a new TV show out that I hear the birds out there are saying it's pretty good. What's it called, and when does it air?
Oh, it's UFOs, the uncovered evidence, the untold evidence, I don't remember the name of it.
Wow.
It's a great show. It's actually on American Heroes network right now, and it's UFOs, the Lost Evidence. I'm sorry to the producers for that.
Okay.
And it's kind of an Ancient Aliens kind of show, only it's a little bit more modern cases than what Ancient Aliens typically takes on. It's not Ancient Aliens, and it's one of these talking head shows. I'm on it, Nick Pope's on it, Dolan's on it. We're all doing our thing, and Erica Lukes is on it. We're all kind of doing our thing, and it's been fun, and I'm glad people liked it because I thought it was pretty good. It isn't Ancient Aliens good, but what is, right?
Yeah, well, that's you know what? That's a barometer. You need to always have something to try to best.
Yeah,
and if you're
it'll
try
keep getting better. I mean, it'll just keep getting better the more shows they produce. It's going to be for Discovery Networks. I mean, it's shown on, so far, the American Heroes channel was the first channel, which is good to be. If I'm not an American hero, why am I on the American Heroes channel? And it's also going to be, it's been on Destination America, and I assume, knowing how Discovery operates, having had experience with them before with uncovering aliens, that it'll probably be on pretty much all their networks by the time they get done with it. So,
and how's the reception been so far? Is the network happy? How are the ratings been?
As far as I know, they're happy. I haven't really heard from the producers. Right now we're just hired hands. We're all a bunch of mercenaries, so
right.
They haven't really let us know. But I have, it's a pretty strong production company. They've done a lot of good shows. And I think that they'll probably be doing more of them. I certainly hope so. It was fun.
So, season 2.
I would think so, but I don't know yet.
Okay. So, all right. Well,
waiting for them to put money in my hand, and then I start talking.
Yeah, man. Networks. Networks are tough. Okay, hold on for a second, and let me see here. Hold on, just hang on. George. Oh, hey, Bara.
Yeah, where's George?
That was Noory calling right there. I'm going to put you on hold, or I'm actually, Mike, call me on my other line, and I'll split this up, and I'll bring George. You've got the other line, right? You've got both numbers.
Well, the other Skype line or the
other Skype line, Jimmy Church Radio.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, all you right. Have that. Okay, call me on that one, and then we'll bring you and George on together.
Okay.
And I tried to bring George on, and it just didn't happen. So I'm going to go backwards here and see if I can actually get George on the line. Let's see here. See if it happens.
Who?
George?
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, Jimmy. How are you?
Say hi to Mike Bara.
Hi, George. Here?
Yes.
Yeah, Bara's here too.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of those sneak attack phone calls.
Yeah,
is it?
yes, it is. It is. And see what's funny. I'll just let everybody know. George is actually doing what he should be doing right now. He is working, and he's cutting He's in the studio working, right? And he sends me this text, "Church, man, I'm working. Some people have to work, right?" And I was like, and sure enough, he took the time to get out of the studio and drop by and caught you, Mike, here. So, George, welcome to the show. Really quick, thank you, because again, and I'm serious to the audience here, George is actually working right now. But George is going to be at Contact in the Desert this weekend. Like always, he's got a packed schedule. George, what's going on out there for you this year?
We're going to have a special luncheon, Jimmy, around the noon hour. I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, our main panel at 2:30 in the amphitheater with the best-selling author Eric von Daniken, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Michael Tellinger, of course, will be with us, Jason Martell, Brian Forster, Chris Hardy, and I'm looking forward to it.
George, how come you get all the, what's up with that? How come you get the good stuff?
Because I'm a nice guy.
Oh, man.
I don't know. They just put this great panel together for me. They're good people.
And just like last year, this is what's really funny is George and I always do our panels back to back, right? So I'm walking off the stage, George is pulling up in a golf cart, or vice versa. And so this year, as soon as George is done with his, we start our panel, and we will be passing ships in the night. We're going to walk past each other and say hello, and then keep on working. And so, George, after that, what are you doing?
After that, I'm going to just wander around the place, probably listen to you for a little bit, and then head back for a couple meetings I've got Sunday morning. So it's going to be another one of those action-packed weekends, Jimmy.
You know what you should do, George, is Saturday night. Now, I'm not committing you to anything, but Saturday night after my panel wraps up, Melinda Leslie, I should drag you down for this. She's going to be doing her night vision down on the cliff, which is right down from the amphitheater. And it's a crazy thing to go. You did it years ago. You were on the roof of a hotel.
I did it with Grimsley, with the late Ed Grimsley on the top of a hotel in San Jose, California.
That's right.
And it was unbelievable. And I saw two UFOs doing 90-degree angles, stopping, starting, weird stuff. But you can really see them with good night vision goggles.
And we're going to be doing that again last year during your birthday party last year, right? So
that's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
and it went down in grand fashion that evening. And to this day, as you know, George, I've told the story many times. I don't want to bore everybody with it, but it's a life-changing experience when you see something like that. And until you do, you don't understand what you're referring to here. I'll tell you something, George. The next night after that, which was Sunday night, Mike Bara and I and the rest of the Fadernauts, we were there with a night vision over at the Fader compound, and Mike Bara got to see something in the sky with Richard Dolan right there in the parking lot, right above. Again, it was happening again in the skies in Joshua Tree. Absolutely nuts.
True. True, absolutely true.
That was the Frisbee that Jimmy was throwing up in the air, Mike.
You know, hey, George, I'll tell you something funny. I hate to name drop, but this is exactly how it went down. It's myself and Dolan and Bara, and we're tripping out. And at that moment, at that moment, George, up walks David Wilcock and Corey Good. I'm not making this up. And they are walking up. We're standing there with night vision, tripping our brains out on what we're seeing. And Wilcock and Good acted like it was nothing. And we're like, okay, cool. Where's the food?
Yeah, they're used to it. They see this stuff every day.
It was like, we are seriously tripping out. We're out of our minds. And they saw us tripping out. And they were like, okay, cool. Where's the food? It's like, wow.
By the way, I had 8 deja vu experiences last year at Joshua Tree. I thought it was absolutely going insane, Jimmy.
What happened?
8 deja vu feelings. They were just, there's some kind of vortex. There's something there in Joshua Tree that does something electrically to your brain.
It does.
And I'm telling you, I was having these weird experiences every half hour. It was weird.
What do you think it is about
Joshua?
Yeah, what is it about Joshua Tree? It's not a joke.
Did you feel it too?
The second you get to that property out there, the second you get to it, and you start to just acclimate, you realize it's special. It's
electromagnetic
yes.
or something. Something's going on out there.
It's like Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? You're going into another dimension. And I know I sound weird.
It's a little Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And the other thing, George, as you know, and Mike has pointed out many times, 15, 16 miles away is 29 Palms Marine Base. And
that's right.
They don't care. Right? They're not scrambling jets every time something shows up in the skies. They are used to it. That's the only thing I could think of. They know that there's stuff going on. Otherwise, they would be scrambling jets and helicopters 24/7.
Good point. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you out there, my friend.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll stop by your little luncheon. Of course, then we'll hang out on our panels together just a little bit and then enjoy the rest of the evening together. Thank you so much, George.
Got it, my friend.
I'll talk to
Mike.
You.
Be well, too.
Yeah, see you soon, George.
There you go. Thank you, George. George Noory. And again, I want to stress with everybody that we are scheduling our friends to stop by tonight, but all of us, including Mike and Clyde, Clyde Lewis was just on with us, Mike, and everybody is getting ready for tomorrow. And George is backed up and working tonight. He's got a show tonight, and he's there recording and doing some other stuff and some production. And said, you know what, it's the fate or not. I get that, Jimmy. So. Let me see what and how cool is that he takes the time to stop by and say hello to the fate or not. It's pretty cool. So, he
obviously values your audience to a high degree.
Well, we were talking the other day, and I'll just say this. He made a point to say that me being over at Coast is something special because the Fadernauts and the crowd, goes over to Coast and they benefit from that. But also, I have an approach to the show that is, a little bit different, and that a traditional Coast audience gets something a little bit different, a little more adventurous. I'm out of my mind and what have you. So they get that. But on the vice versa side of that is the Coast audience gets exposed to Fade to Black. So the two of them coexist and feed off each other, and it's a really, really cool symbiotic relationship. I mean, between the audiences, and that's and that just means a lot to me that it's recognized. 1, 2, from our side for Fade to Black, for the Fadernauts out there to hear me on Coast. That is awesome for them, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it really is. It's like you said, it's kind of a weird symbiotic relationship, and it's just one that I think is going to keep growing.
Well, and I'm glad that they had the vision for that instead of making it competitive and being negative about, like Clyde Lewis. Here's Clyde, Ground Zero, syndicated, great show. He's a great host, but we're doing this together, and we do a simulcast of 2 radio broadcasts together at the same time. Who does that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. It's a lot of fun, and for Clyde, myself, and George, for the audience out there to see that unity, that it's all good, man. It's all good. It just sends the right message to everybody, and very, very, very proud of that. Now, okay, I might even let me see here. Who do we have coming up next? Let's see here. Okay, actually,
I'm on pins and needles. I'm all tingly. I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I might keep you after the break because we're coming up to a break. What I wanted to ask you about is your presentations up at Contact in the Desert. What are you going to be doing this weekend?
I'm going to be doing NASA and the Secret Space Program, which is my current book, Hidden Agenda, NASA and the Secret Space Program. So I'm going to be doing that. I've got some updates from earlier this year. So if you saw me in Orange County or LA doing this presentation, or up in San Francisco where I caught SARS from Giorgio, by all means come by because I got some new stuff for you. It's really interesting and intriguing. Something, in fact, just happened today that's a major development. And I'll be doing a free lecture on, I think it is Saturday afternoon, where I'm going to be basically just updating everybody on all the things we'd like to talk about on Ceres. We had a big discussion on Ceres at the event in Big Bear a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And so there's just like lots of new information on a lot of this stuff. And we'll be talking just a little bit of secret societies and ancient aliens and the deep state and this national security state and all that stuff that Dolan likes to talk about. So we got quite a few things. I'll be doing a panel on Sunday. I'm taking Kim Carlsberg's place, I guess, on Sunday night.
What happened?
Yeah, she had to cancel today. So I'm going to be stepping in and doing something else, which I'm frantically trying to put together right now. But the cool thing about me, Church, is I have so much stuff to talk about that I never get enough time to talk anyway. So I can just talk to my heart's content this weekend.
Do you know what happened to Kim?
No, I don't know anything.
I don't want to, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't know, but all of her websites are down. They're gone. Oh. Yeah. And I was kind of tripping on that. I was like, man, what's up with Kim? And I was looking forward to going up to her and saying, what's up? Do you have other links? Is it that these are bad links? Yeah. What is going on here? But there you go. So she won't be at Contact in the Desert.
Well, I know she was well enough to send an email today and say that she couldn't make it. So, hopefully it's nothing like any kind of serious illness or anything like that. But we don't know.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, breaking news right here
breaking
on
news.
Fade to Black Radio.
Well, and the other, of course, as you know, Jim Mars is down for the count, and we have, Peter Levenda stepped in to fill those shoes, too, as well. Mm-hmm. And for anybody out there, obviously our thoughts are with Jim Mars, but you definitely want that call, right? Hey, can you make it to Contact in the... Yes, I can. Let's go.
Yes, I can make it. Yes, let's do it right now. And also John Anthony West. Let's not forget about him.
I know. And here we are doing... I'm going to take a break right here, Mike. I'm hosting the Forbidden Archaeology panel. And just like you, last year, I'm going to put another... I got to put an empty chair on the stage, right?
Am I on that one?
We're going to take a break right here. Our guest right now, Mike Bara. It is open lines right now. It's Fader Night, 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
End time is not what you thought. In their new book, 122436, authors Mike and Cheryl Gilmore bring forth a startling new idea on the beginning of humankind, how life begins on Earth and when our Creator concludes this age. In the book, 122436, three small groups of individuals, separated by thousands of miles, discover together the answers to the beginning of our universe and all the life it contains. Mike Gilmore is the author of 5 Levels of Power novels and the Sled Investigation series. Cheryl Gilmore is current state director in South Carolina for MUFON and brings a lifetime of experience with UFOs and related fields. As a team, their new book about life in the near future on Earth sets aside most people's religious and scientific beliefs. Available exclusively on Amazon in softback for $8.99 or the ebook price for only $2.99. Remember, Amazon softback $8.99, ebook only $2.99. 12/24/36. Get your copy today.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple, at JChurchRadio. I'm talking to Mike Bara. He's our current drive-by victim, and you can follow Mike at Mike Bara 33, and the 33 is there because that's how old he is. Or it's its waist size. It's one or the other.
Oh, no, I wish I was only a 33, man. Ooh.
Those days are gone. Remember that episode of Seinfeld when he was changing the size on his Levi's?
No, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry not to help you, but no.
No, it's funny, man. He gets busted, right? Elaine catches, she's looking at it. She's like, you changed the waist size, on the leather patch on the back of the Levi's. It's got the waist size on it. So he's changing his waist size to the smaller size. And I'm so with him on that, man. I'm so with him. I remember the days when I used to wear 28-33.
Well, you can get there again. Actually, I got to tell you, the other day I was looking at that famous picture of you with the skinny legs and the the big jams on and the guitar and the long hair, and I was thinking to myself, God, I'm going to sneak up on this guy next time Halloween comes around and I'm in L.A. I'm going to go as Jimmy Church. And then I looked at that picture and I realized I'd have to be shirtless, and I was like, nah.
I wouldn't do Jimmy Church shirtless either. So there you go, man. We're on the same page on that one. That's a frightening thought. No, I take a shower with the shirt on now, man.
Yeah. Well, look, we can get back there. It's just a question of, at this point, I think in our lives, we've both reached the age, you before me, but we've both reached the age where I think it's like, is it worth the pain that we have to go through to look good anymore? And I don't know. I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, I know. I think it is. About, this is 2017, so I'm going to go back to 2007, about 10 years ago. I just went on this health kick, and got the weight back down, right? And I'm going to tell you, and I spent like 6 months on that, and it just, it wasn't worth it to me.
It wasn't that much fun, was it?
No,
Is it really fun? I mean, that's a question, right? Is it really that much fun?
Mike, you know how Rita and I live our lives. And that we live our lives around, and anybody out there that's ever that questions my integrity or who I am or where I come from or what that I'm full of crap, and so they don't know that our life is built on integrity, and our life is built on friends and ceremony and get-togethers and food and drink and conversation, and life is special. So therefore, I'm not going to give up grilling 2-inch steaks with mashed potatoes and green beans, casserole, and a really good salad and an evening of chilled vodka and sitting around and hang. I'm just not gonna give that up. I enjoy it. I just enjoy it too much. It's really the truth.
It's about quality at this point in life, not quantity. So much,
that's
right?
exactly the point. All right, now this is what I wanted to ask you, Mike. I'm going to throw you. I'm hoping I'm going to catch you a little bit off guard, but I want to do this without discussing politics. Right? Let's not. Oh, great! Karen just put up your pic.
Oh, I just saw that. Wow.
My goodness gracious!
Retweet that with a little F2B hashtag.
Oh my goodness gracious! All right, I'll retweet this. All right, hold on. Retweet. Here we go. This is the pic. This is the pic that Mike uses at his seminars.
Yeah, that's my. There you go. I'm just need that guitar, and that's my Halloween costume.
I'm going to say this was 1980. I'm going to say 8. Close enough, somewhere in there, right in that period. And this pic that we just posted up here, it was at Contact in the Desert, and I walk in to see how Mike is doing, and the place is packed. There's like 700 people in there, packed. And I walk in, and at that moment, Bara goes, and Jimmy Church is here. And everybody applauds, right? And I'm like, why would everybody applaud for that? What I didn't realize that Mike had just posted this pic to the audience, so they all got a good laugh. And then now the fat Jimmy walks in, right?
Come on, you're not too bad. I mean, don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm not.
You're not so bad.
So anyway, and it's up on the jumbotrons, right, on both sides of the stage.
Yeah.
And I walked up and stood in front of this pic forever. That was hilarious. It was because I was life size, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were beyond that. You were epically life size.
Oh my goodness gracious, those are good days.
The only thing missing from that picture is the big fake sausage bulge right below the guitar. That's what we needed to really cap. But that was a staple of the '80s, so you needed that. But.
That's not what's special about this picture, Mike. If you look really close, it's that couch in the background. Is that the scariest thing you've ever seen in your life? Look at the stains.
We all know that couch from the 1980s, don't we, Jimmy?
Look at the stains on that couch. I don't even want to know. Okay. Is this, not to talk politics, I don't want to do that. Man, we've got a bunch of phone calls coming in. Yeah, Mike, I almost need to, look, everybody call in on the other number. And I'm going to pull it in on that phone line. And I have to do that for a reason. Don't make me explain that live on the air. And that number is 323-275-9695. Call 323-275-9695. The audio, the path that I've got things set up. Okay, there you go. See, people are listening. They're actually listening. All right.
You're live. Are they listening to us?
Right. You're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Ray.
Hey, Ray, how are you? Say hi to Mike Bara.
Mike, it's great to hear you. I'm interested in the whole program you're doing.
Nice to meet you, Ray.
So, Ray, what's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Well, I got to listen to Mike, and he's doing the secret space fleet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
A flashback to I had to get a hold of Peter Davenport. This is back in 2013, about September 26th. I do a little bit of astronomy in my backyard, and I was getting ready to set up and just out looking at the sky. It was starting to turn dark, and I noticed coming from the northwest what looked like a little white patch of cloud. Well, I looked at it a little bit longer, and it was moving. It was moving pretty quick. Well, I'm in Turlock, California, and just north of us is Modesto. And over Modesto at about 24,000 feet is traffic that goes to San Francisco. So I've got a pretty good idea of, traffic in the area and altitude. Well, this cloud looked like it was about 3 times the height of that. And it came from what I guess is like from Travis.
Okay, right. You have to know the lay of the land out here, but the high desert area, Central Valley of Central California.
Yeah. It north, it was coming from about 330 degrees. And it was way up there. Now with an outstretched hand, with my thumb and index finger, it was about an inch wide. Okay, and I estimated that to be at about 60,000 feet.
So it's big. Whatever it is, it's big.
Yeah, it's about as big as a football stadium.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
And
it was huge.
And Ray, how fast was it going?
Well, you know how your time sense kind of changes when you're excited and you see something cool? I want to say that it passed right directly over me and was gone in like 12 seconds.
So from 60,000 feet, okay, now see, you're talking to the right guy in Mike Bara. Mike, at 60,000 feet, something that is traveling at, let's say, 600, 800 miles an hour, 1,000 miles an hour, it's just plugging along, right? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not moving. I mean, it's moving, but it's not ripping across the sky. But at 60,000 feet, if something moves like this that Ray is referencing, what are we talking about here? Mach 5, Mach 10?
No. I don't think it's that fast because really, I mean, you're talking about a very large object. You said what it took about 12 seconds to go from across the sky.
Well, I'm looking at it from about 35 degrees above the horizon to the north to about 40 degrees south of me. So it's covering, about 150 degrees of the sky at 60,000 feet.
150, how many seconds?
In about 12 seconds.
Mike, that's a big chunk of the sky, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But the thing is, again, you don't know for sure what the height of the object is and the size of it. I mean, I think that could be subsonic, and it was a straight line trajectory. Is that correct? It was just basically went a straight line.
This was the thing. My best estimate, like I said, was the traffic that's making their approaches to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys.
But I mean, to be an inch.
Feet.
To be an inch across, even if it was only 5,000 feet, that's a pretty enormous object. So that's what makes it unusual is the size of it. The other stuff is hard to calculate depending on you got to know certain factors. You got to know how high up it is. You don't know that for sure.
Well, but this is what's interesting here. It looked like a cloud, but a cloud doesn't travel like that, and at that height. So are we talking about an object that was maybe cold and had some, it was surrounded by something natural, or was it some type of cloaked object that was being hidden? But certainly it's not going to be a natural cloud, I wouldn't think, right, Mike?
No, I wouldn't expect it to be. I think that whole cloak scenario, Jimmy, is probably probably pretty close to what you're talking about. That would probably be the best explanation for what he saw. But this reminds me of something I think is pretty important that people should think about if they get a chance while they're having an experience like this, which is that if there's any clouds in the sky, try to make note of whether it passes in front of or behind the clouds, because if you can, it's easy to find out what the ceiling is or where the cloud cover is for any given day in any given area, and that is really, really helpful in determining size and distance and high altitude. So, again, this is a small thing, but it's something. If you think about it, try to think to yourself, well, did it pass in front of the clouds or behind the clouds? If there's no clouds, there's nothing you can do about it. But that is a big
Mike,
important
when
factor.
it got up to about 60 degrees elevation, it changed. Like I said, it looked like a white cloud to start out with. That's when it was low at 35 degrees on the horizon. As it came over the top of me, it turned into distinguishable lights on the bottom of it. And as it approached over the top of me, I could definitely see the chevron outline, and I counted the lights. There were 15 of them, and they were a white, yellowish color.
Well, that changes things altogether. I didn't hear. Did you say that originally? Did I miss that?
Didn't say it originally.
Okay. Sorry. Ray, I apologize. That just went right past me. Mike, so now it was a cloaked object.
Yeah, and chevron-shaped objects are something that we've been seeing more of probably in the last 20 years or so since the Phoenix Lights sighting. And I do tend to think these are our experimental aircraft, but I'm not positive of that. But they're definitely a fairly new phenomenon, and the boomerang chevron shape. So they're definitely something different and interesting. And again, I'm just like, if something moves in a completely straight line on a ballistic trajectory, then I tend to think it's some sort of subsonic, probably human-designed, human-built craft that may be very, very advanced, but isn't necessarily extraterrestrial. But I don't know that for sure. And a lot of it too, Jimmy, is like, how weird does it make you feel? If it makes you feel really weird, I got a feeling that maybe you're seeing something that's not from here. So how does that make you feel, Ray?
Well, I've seen lots of unidentified objects over the years. I haven't had first contact, but ever since the age of 10, I grew up just north of Yakima in a little town called Sela, and I'm sitting at living in a house. The second-story window faces west towards the hills, and one night my younger brother and I were looking out, and we see what looks like a meteorite coming down, only it stops and then goes up and then comes down and then goes up again in the shape of a W. And he had to call me here about 2 months ago, and he said, "Hey, was that real or was that a dream?" I was 10 and he was 8, and I've consistently seen objects over the years. In the Navy, I did 3 tours in Vietnam, shipboard, and we'd sit off the coast of the DMZ for like 45 days at a stretch. And I'd go out at nighttime and just stare up, and I'd see all kinds of squirrely things. White objects that are going much faster than the SRs, because I have since worked with Jim Sullivan, who was one of the SR drivers, and that was a lot of fun. That's another story. So it appeared to me at the time I saw it that it was military, because it did go in a straight line. And I'm like, hey, if I was ET, I certainly wouldn't want to travel in a straight line. That's dull and boring. And who do I know that would go in a straight line from point A to point B with no deviation? And military strikes.
Right.
Every time.
Right. Ray, did you take pictures before I let you go? Did you take pictures?
I didn't have a chance to get the camera. I was trying to get to the house to get a searchlight, because I keep one here so that I can flash at them to see if I get a response.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. All right, Ray, thank you for the phone call, and thank you for that. Very interesting. I'm looking at some of the numbers that are being posted in the chat room, and they're talking about if it's 30 times that altitude at 2,000 feet, blah, 12 seconds to take the. Now they're talking about, Mach big numbers, 14,000 miles an hour.
I calculated a little bit over Mach 3.
Right.
And that's if I got my time sense correct, and I tried from the moment I saw it, because I knew it was unusual, I tried to keep a mental tab of 1001, 1002, 1003, and
Right.
go through the whole thing.
Right.
By the time I got to 12, it was gone.
Yeah,
and it
But there was
way
no
up
no
there.
sonic boom as it broke through or anything like that. So it was already at
It
speed.
was quiet. Yeah.
And
It was
also,
totally
Mach 3 is not an impossible speed for human aircraft to attain in the atmosphere. It's not. So, I don't know what it was, but it sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
can't give you
Definitely.
much more than
It's big.
Hey, Ray, thank you for the phone call, my friend.
Jimmy, thank you so much. And Mike, take care, and I hope to read some of your articles soon.
Thanks, Ray. That'd be cool.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Right.
And I remember, I forget the researcher. You may remember this, Mike. There was a researcher that was out, man, this is so many years ago, but he was out at the Nevada test range in that area, right? Area 51, out there in the desert, and was clocking these orbs that were skimming across the top of the desert, right? And that he felt, I think that the origin was Area 51, and those orbs have been seen out there forever, right? That part's not a big deal. But apparently he got a good vantage point over a number of days where it would come down south out of Area 51, out of the test site, and then go along the desert floor, and then I don't know if it would pass him or how it ended, but anyway, he would do just that. The 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, right, in these videos, and then estimated these speeds, and these speeds were like, 6,000 miles an hour, and they're on the video, but there's no sonic boom. Now, these are orbs. Maybe there isn't any wind. It's a light anomaly. Maybe it's some type of plasma thing. But to have that kind of speed at ground level, you would think you would be knocked down by the sonic boom, right?
You might. I don't know. The thing is that these kinds of speeds are, again, I think they're attainable for conventional aircraft, but at great risk and only at really high altitude. I wouldn't ever expect you to be able to get to that kind of speed, near the lake bed. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting stuff.
Have you
bizarre.
ever?
I don't know what to say about it.
Have you ever been in the presence of a sonic boom?
Oh yeah. In fact, there was a time at Christmas time in the Palm Springs area where all of a sudden this huge boom just shook the windows and rattled the whole house. I was there with my family, my cousins, and my mom, and it was pretty freaky. It was bad. I was like, what, the space shuttle land?
Right.
What's going on?
Was
it's pretty weird.
This past Christmas? What year was that?
Oh, that was I'm going to say 2008, 2009, 2007, somewhere in there, about 10 years ago.
And one of the funnest times to be in California when it comes to sonic booms was the mid 80s. And, people talk about it all the time now today, but we were going through it back then. And it got to the point where, and it felt to me, this is what my memory says. I would have to go back and look at the actual data. But it seemed like it was like Monday and Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Boom, right? And it got so regular that summer of 84, 85, 86. It was a weekly thing, sometimes even a daily thing. And it would shake everything, the windows, everything on the coffee table would, move. It was like crazy loud. And then the reports started to come in, not only via the newspaper and the news, but rumors. And the rumors were this is what was going on all over the place. It's the space shuttle. That was at the beginning, right? It's the space shuttle. And then the news started saying, wait a minute, there's no shuttle, right? There's no shuttle launch. There's no space shuttle up there. There's no space shuttle returning. Therefore, what the heck is going on?
Well, public space shuttle, but there's been rumors, for years and years and years that there was 2 or 3 other shuttles that were built that were actually private, secret, dark space program.
Absolutely.
Kind of flying out of Edwards.
Out of Edwards and landing in the Mojave. No doubt about that. But then there was the other spin that started to surface. And this was not only in the media down here, but again, it was like these rumors about this secret Aurora plane. And Aurora started to pop up like in Popular Mechanics, and Mark McCandlish is doing paintings. You know what I mean? This Aurora thing started to take hold. And I think that, and it wasn't, I want to say this to everybody. I'm not talking about the paranormal community, the conspiracy community, no, that's not what I'm referring to here. I'm talking about everybody in the streets of LA was getting their houses shook, right? And so these rumors were, they've got a secret space plane. It's flying over to New York. That was the thing. And then it's going to return eventually. And because these sonic booms, I don't know how many there were. It just seems to me, my memory was, it was like weekly for a while. It was like and sometimes it was daily. Boom.
Wow.
In the morning.
I have a cat named Aurora, by the way.
Never at night. Trip on that. It was never at night. It was always in the morning. Always in the morning. You're getting up, drinking your coffee, you're at work, whatever. But it was always in the morning and these sonic booms. And it was, like I said, it was a crazy time. Now that I look back at it, doing what I do now and knowing what I know now, man, I wish that stuff would go on now. But this is the trippy part. It stopped. Right?
Yeah. Well, they completed the test program. So whatever they were doing was over with. So it's like, okay, don't need to do that anymore.
Or this is the other thing that if I'm going to speculate on this, they just moved it. Maybe they're doing it out over the ocean because the public started to take notice.
Yes, that does happen. I mean, definitely it's that's what I think happened with Kenneth Arnold and the Roswell crash. I think Kenneth Arnold actually, the sighting was actually a sighting of us testing captured, redesigned German Horten HO-229 bombers, jet bombers that were flying wings from the Germans, and that they thought, well, McCord Air Force Base is really remote up there in the Pacific Northwest. There's nobody there. Arnold sees it and are like, well, this is not remote enough. I mean, at the time, this area was uninhabited, really. And then I think they moved him to Roswell, and that's probably what crashed near Roswell. That's what I suspect. I'll have to run that by Don Schmidt when I see him this weekend.
But if we think about that, the speed that Kenneth Arnold, again, right? He was calculating speed manually. He was talking about thousands of miles an hour. The Horten couldn't have done that. I mean,
no, it couldn't. But what's interesting about it is he also described, what the reason it was called a flying saucer was because it kind of skipped and jumped and was very unstable in the air. And that's the problem with flying wings. That's why we could never perfect them until the B-2, was that they are an inherently unstable airframe without a tail to stabilize it aerodynamically. So they tended to be really hard to fly and jump and skip around. And I mean, if you think about that is a really precise description of what I would think a 1947 experimental flying wing jet aircraft would look like in performance. So it's possible he miscalculated. Again, without certain knowledge, without knowing the exact distance, without knowing the size, it's really hard to calculate speed unless it just moves so incredibly fast you can't even. It's like Fernando Alonso going by you on the main straightaway at Indianapolis. That's fast. That's fast. You don't know exactly how fast, but it's fast.
Thank you so much, Mike. You're the best, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Come hang out with the Fadernauts over the Joshua Tree Saloon.
At the party.
Safe travels, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow night at Contact in the Desert. Mike Bara.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat. Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
My name's Doug Salamone, and I have a new show for you that will blow your mind. So what kind of show is it? It's a podcast, and it's called In the News. And you can find us at inthenewspodcast.com. We talk about what's new, what's crazy, what's out of this world, and we'll dissect those thoughts, ideas, and events right here on the show. And hear all the news you may have missed or really don't give a crap about, but want to hear anyways. So come on over and meet me at inthenewspodcast.com. That's inthenewspodcast.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, the planet. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Twitter's smoking tonight. Well, it's smoking every night. But for some reason, there is a collection of yours truly in the 1980s that has been circulating the web, and there they all are in their splendor. Man. Painful. Classic picture. That picture of me dressed as a bumblebee, that was at the Whiskey in 1985. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm just looking at what I'm wearing. So it better have been 1985, right? And there you go. And that guitar was only used that 1 year. So 84 and the other guitar in the background, those were both replaced and retired shortly after that. So, yeah, 1984 on the Sunset Strip. There you go. You want to see that picture? Just go to hashtag F2B and there you go. All right. 323-275-9695, and we're going to have another drive-by here in just a bit. But in the meantime, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy, Casper Parks.
Hey, Casper Parks. How are you, my friend?
Dude, I had such a blessed evening. I
I went and saw the Canadian band Bleecker play tonight.
Oh, and how were they?
It's fabulous. Well, they got a hit, a highway in Canada and in, I think, France, and they're doing the U.S. It was a small show, maybe 100 people. He got down, sat there, had all the young people, a lot of 18-year-olds there in their early 20s, sat down like a campfire and passed the mic around, and they were singing in circles. It was really crazy. And I got a chance to visit with the band for a while, gave them some books. And the thing is that, because Stephen Greer's new film out, Acknowledged, is all, the documentary. So I'm pushing that whenever I can. And those guys, the band Bleecker, totally into everything. They're aware of Tom DeLonge and his work.
Right.
They were like really dialed kind of into it to a degree. So I wrote everything down for them for the documentary, so when they get off tour they can watch it. And their parents were into it. Because we talked about that missing generation, which is like the teens and 20-somethings, And, it kind of, it was a chance to focus on that and sit down and talk with them for a while about the music industry, because it's far different than when you and I were involved with it.
Right. And, well, hey, Casper, you know what's really cool? To have an author like you call into the show like this, and then, and I hope you're ready, because on the other line, I have the one and only, the director that is so good, he has 3 names. Jeremy Kenyon, actually 4. He's got 4. Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell. Jeremy, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Jimmy, really good. How are you?
Say hi to Casper Parks. The author is right next to you on the show. Say hi to Casper.
Hey, Casper, how's it going?
Hi.
Casper, are you okay? Did you?
Yeah. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was just the documentary is just so good, and when I watched it, there was something about the cattle mutilations that that's been around for a while, and then all of a sudden something popped in my head that I hadn't thought about the cattle mutilations. I mean, you know about them, and this is why you think you know everything, and a lot of it's past, but you watch it, it refreshes you. And sometimes you're able to look at something from a different perspective. And that came up with a whole new theory on cattle mutilations, completely different, that I don't think anyone said yet. I'm going to finish researching it before I throw it out there, but I got a whole new theory on it. Well, and I wouldn't have had that had I not watched the documentary.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and I'm glad that you bring that up, because here we have Jeremy, who is finishing up one of his documentaries now. And Jeremy has a way, and I know that I've said this a lot about Jeremy, but I've also said it to him to his face. He's got a way of putting this stuff together from another perspective, and I do not, and I'm serious, I do not know how Jeremy is able to get this information. Jeremy, what's your secret, man?
Oh, man, it's definitely not my looks. I'm not sure. I think persistence, Jimmy. Working on all of these films, it's about relationships, developing relationships, having a great mentor. Essentially just getting and earning the trust of people, but then keeping that trust. Part of telling secrets is you have to keep them sometimes, and that can be a weight. But with the filmmaking, it's just pointing the camera and making sure the person doesn't even think about the camera anymore. And that's how I get the interviews. Well,
and the other part is you make it look good too. That's half of anything, especially with a documentary, that if you are able to get the aesthetic as well as the content, if you get that, then you have both, and you've always been able to achieve that, Jeremy. It's tough to do, and you're very nonchalant about it. You're like, well, whatever. I like what I'm shooting. But it's always an amazing thing to look at when you put these things together. What are you going to be? Are you going to be showing anything at Contacting the Desert? What are you going to be talking about this weekend?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm going to be showing a lot of never-before-seen footage of my work, but also from cases and things that I've been working on. It'll be a very, very interesting audiovisual presentation, very heavy on the film footage. I do have a film that's going to be released. I'll be announcing that at Con.
Oh, Jeremy, we lost you. See, this is the thing, and for everybody out there, while I'm waiting for Jeremy to come back, he's in the middle of the desert right now. Jeremy, are you there? We lost Jeremy. Unbelievable.
I'm still around, but...
Yeah, well, Casper's still here. All right, Jeremy, if you can hear me, Jeremy, just call back or I'll hit you back. What a drag. See, that's the thing. He is literally...
I want to say something real quick, is that, the thing is with the UFO community now, this documentary is so well done for Unacknowledged that, there's that thing, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right.
And, I tell a lot of people I bump into, hey, you got to watch this. And, people will blow you off. If they do, fine. Don't get discouraged. Keep going. And it's like tonight I sat down and talked to those guys for quite a while, and they were all into it, and they're making sure everything's right. So I'm pretty sure they're going to watch it. So, don't get discouraged when you recommend it to somebody and they kind of blow you off. Pick up, keep moving on, until you find people that will listen. And this documentary is done so well that, you don't have to agree with everything that's in there, but the basics we do, and it's just fabulous, man. I think it's really well done, and I just wanted to make sure that, everybody takes time to watch it, and to help, push it out for friends to watch and things and family.
For one of the most interesting things about the film is the first 5 minutes. Right? And the tone that is set that first 5 minutes. Now, if you haven't seen the film, I'm not going to give it away because the first 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the film really, really gets a message across. One that you do not expect. It is not what you expect, and that is the tone of the film. And then it takes off, but you don't expect that first 5-10 minutes and the way that the music is done. I'm not going to give any of it away. You have to check it out. And I do want people.
It's well written.
Yeah, it's well written. And I want people to come up to me in a couple of months or a month or whatever, or call into the show and go, dude, you're absolutely right. That first 5 minutes of the film freaked me out, and it was emotional, and that really, really sets the tone for the rest of the film. So. Just take note of that. Be ready to go. At the beginning of the film, make sure your popcorn is there. You got your drinks, so that you're not going to get up and go and goof around. So, all right, Casper, I think we got Jeremy back. Let me see if we got him. Jeremy, I know you're in the middle of the desert, man. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, man, I live extremely remotely off-grid, and it is totally, totally unexpected all the time out here when you can be communicating with the outside world.
So tomorrow night we arrive, and we're going to be down at your hangout, the Joshua Tree Saloon, tomorrow night.
That's awesome. Yeah. My theory on why it's so bizarre out here in Joshua Tree, and specifically Pioneer Town, where I live, which is the home of Pappy and Harriet's, an amazing place.
Right.
I think it's the fourth dimension, man. There's a firmament that's perforated out here. It's just wild out here.
Do you see something, we just had George Noory on a little bit ago, and George was telling us that last year at Contact, he had like 8 deja vus in one day. Right. And he said it was just tripping him out. What is it with Joshua Tree, man? And Pioneer,
Yeah, this area, Jimmy, I mean, look, I've been studying and researching this stuff and filming it for a long time. It is really spectacular. It is unique. It has a rich Native American history in this area. And additionally, there's a mythology that's never left here. It might just be that there's zero light pollution and you have a 360-degree panoramic of the cosmos.
Right.
That could be part of it.
Right.
That people are just looking up.
Right.
But there is a strangeness quotient out here. It truly is the fourth dimension.
Casper was just talking about Unacknowledged, and that he just watched it with some friends. And you and I were at the premiere together a couple of weeks ago here in Los Angeles, and it was great to see Ruben there too as well. Ruben Langdon there with you, your partner. How was it for you? I was just talking about this with Casper. Jeremy, you're a filmmaker, you're a director, and you know Michael Mendoza, and you've known Steven for years. So putting all that part of it off to the left, that first 5 to 10 minutes of the film, Not giving it away. Let's talk about what the soundtrack was or the visuals. But how powerful was that for you as a director? That was pretty strong, wasn't it?
You know, I might become very unpopular, here tonight, but, the essential thing for me is that what I like to look at with the UFO phenomenon and then also, putting films out about that. Well, first of all, there's a great distribution company behind that film. It's called The Orchard. You'll be hearing more from me about that soon. They're doing really great work in this space and in this field. Now, the film itself is similar to a lot of films that I see in the UFO world where 90% of it is stock footage.
Right.
So my goal is to get original content, original interviews, and try to use as little of that as possible. There is power in the message, and you have to separate the message from the messenger. That's the problem in the UFO field, is that when you start going down a path, then you start drinking your own Kool-Aid. So, I'll sip a little bit of my own, but I really try to separate the content from my own persona. So that movie is good because it's going to allow people across the world, when it's distributed through The Orchard, to get a UFOs 101, and it will feed them a basic premise.
No doubt.
But again, the art of filmmaking, for me, is to come from the side or to come from the underneath like an uppercut. It's to sneak attack a little bit rather than be right on the nose. And the reason for that is that people then need to start asking questions. And when they ask questions and they come to their own conclusions, it's a more powerful vehicle for understanding the world around us. So that's kind of more my technique and my take on it all. But hey, it's great to see UFOs coming up in popular culture and people having this discussion on another level, another framework that has now been created for us is a very positive thing because it's an issue. It's a national security issue and it's a human issue.
One of your, all of your stuff is really cool and has a different perspective on it. You're absolutely right. It's an uppercut as somebody is stepping to the left, right? That's what it is. No doubt. Yeah. But one of the things that you did that I enjoyed the most has nothing to do, essentially, with any of this, and that is your montage of the Las Vegas Strip. Dude, it is, I mean, talk about getting sucked in and powerful, right? Now, when you told me, I want you to share again with me, you said that was one of the first things that you had ever done, and you didn't even know what you were doing, and you just kind of, that whole thing just kind of happened. Is that right?
Absolutely. I went to go film with the godfather of conspiracy, John Lear, and he wouldn't let me turn the camera on. It took me 3 years for him to answer my phone call, and then I sat there for about a week. He just stared at me through the barrel of a cigar, wouldn't let me film him. I was kind of frustrated, got this new camera, had never filmed anything in my life, figured I'd point it at John, wasn't able to, so just ended up walking down the Las Vegas Strip, and then people would literally pop out. And I realized that night, walking down the Strip, that the camera was kind of my passport into the intimate lives and thoughts and belief systems of the people in front of it. So for me, it was a very seminal moment, and it's very cool that you appreciated that. That was literally my first film. Another one that's new, Jimmy, that I don't know that you've looked at because it doesn't necessarily have to do with UFOs, but if you go to my website, it's called Indelible. It's about Mark Mahoney and the Shamrock Social Club, which is a tattoo parlor.
Oh,
but in this parlor, something really mysterious happened.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to check that out after the show. The Shamrock Show, really? So, how much time did you spend there?
Over a year, about a year and a half, going multiple times a week. He let me in. He doesn't let people into that shop. I've known him since I was a young kid, and I was able to document hundreds of tattoo appointments, which then opened up to things like Mickey Rourke trying to stab me in the ribs with his stiletto while telling me about his UFO experiences. Every case, every single tattoo session.
Oh, man, we lost Jeremy again.
Oh, that sounds like a good story, too.
Man, Mickey Rourke stabbed me with a stiletto click. Jeremy, if you can hear us, my friend, we'll see you very soon. Well, tomorrow night. And we'll see you tomorrow at Contact in the Desert. Everybody go over to Contact in the Desert, and you can check out the schedule, and you'll see when Jeremy is speaking. And one of the cool things is about Jeremy, and this is no joke. I mean, I am not exaggerating here. He has a way of making things look great. He's got this touch, man. He's got this thing. I study film, Casper. I study film. Rita and I have done nothing but break down cinema every single day that we've been together for the last 20 years. That's all we break down cinema. From the script to, okay, we got Jeremy back. Oh, man. All right, Jeremy, say goodnight to everybody. What days are you speaking at Contact?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Jimmy. So it'll be Sunday at 11 a.m. It's called UFOs is a Clockwork Orange, and I'll be showing a lot of my footage, making a few big announcements I think people are going to be really interested in. And I'll be looking specifically at kind of the mechanistic or robotic characteristics of the phenomenon. So the idea that there's an interactive artificial intelligence manipulating the desires of humanity.
There you go. And are you doing any panels?
I will be. Yeah, I'm on one panel. Those things are funny. You know, you get a couple questions and that's it. But I will be doing some panel on one of the days.
Okay, very good, man. So if you can make it by the saloon tomorrow night, we'll see you. But we'll talk to you about some private things once we're there, and we'll get you over to the Fader compound. But I know that you're going to be, you're going to have 100 maniacs up at your house, and you have to babysit up there, too, as well. I already know. I can see that going down.
Very important. And very importantly, just so people know, I know you're going to have him on at some point, Jacques Vallée will be speaking at Contact in the Desert. That is a must-see. I will be doing the introduction for Jacques Vallée. He is a very important colleague and researcher in this field of the unknown. He's the kind of guy that when he talks, you can't miss him.
No, you can't. You know, Jeremy, he's an alien. You know that, right?
There's rumors and theories just about everybody.
I'm kidding. Clyde Lewis was just on. And the one thing about Jock, and we were just talking about this, his eyes have intelligence, right? There's a sparkle, and there is something going on there that is special beyond anything. And on planet Earth,
it's the weight of not being able to say what you know, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And he has forgotten more than you know, Jeremy, right? And think about that. And that's just the way that it is. And that's how important Jacques Vallée is. So I look forward to that.
I look forward to seeing you, man.
As always, it's Jeremy Corbell, the man with 4 names. Jeremy, we'll see you in a couple of days, man, out of Contact. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Okay. Can't wait to have you out here. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
You got it. Jeremy Lockyer Corbell. Thank you, Jeremy. And, oh man, it's such a big event, Casper. Are you making it out this year? Before I asked.
No. I'm going to try to make it next year if I can.
Right.
Who knows? I might be living out in that direction by that time. It's difficult to say.
Well, you never know, but certainly, next year we'll make it happen. Okay, there's no question about that. What are you working on now? What's your next book?
The next book title is Accidental Destiny.
And what's it about?
And then I don't want to say.
Oh man, you can't do that, Casper. You can't.
Well, I don't want to give away a concept.
You don't want to give. Okay, when's the book coming out? Fair enough. When's the book coming out?
Okay. Well, what I'm hoping to do is get it out by Halloween, if possible. My mom was 81, so we had a lot of medical issues going on and nursing home stuff, so I kind of got sidetracked. And I've been editing about 10 pages a night now. So, so that's coming along really well. The sequel to that is Stellar Destiny. And I got about 40% of that written already. And then I have another book that popped up that I'm going to do right after that. So I'm about 3 or 4 books out in my head, which is always fun.
Yeah. On a good day, how many pages do you crank out?
If I'm editing, that takes a long time. When I was writing Coming from Darkness, I wrote it out. The original rough draft was about 130,000 words, and I did that in about 2.5 months. That was a rough draft, because when I'm sitting with a blank screen in front of me, I can average anywhere from 20 to 60, 70 words a minute. Just my mind on the keyboard, blank screen in front of me. Mm-hmm. When I'm doing free flow, mistakes aside, you just keep right on going. I can pump it out in 2 to 3 months. The editing is what takes the time. And you guys go back and do the edit. And, because my grammar's kind of a little rough, so I go back and do edit and edit and edit and edit. And then eventually I reach a point where you just got to let it go, and the mistakes are there, they're there. But you pull out as many as what you can. And, so I'm hoping by Halloween I can have this one out. Right now I'm kind of looking for a book cover for the one I'm working on now. Mm-hmm. And, and I won't even release a book cover until I release the book. If I can find the right cover.
Right.
Yeah, so but who knows, I might do the same thing I did last time where I put 2 books out back to back. They're like boom, boom, like 3 months between them.
Right,
I think that's going to happen with this one. I'll have 2 books that'll come out within 3 months of each other.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's not like I'm having a dry spell, it's a matter of time to work on it.
Well, that's always the thing, if you do hit that, how do you come out of it?
Would it be time to work on it?
No, when you hit a dry spell, how do you come out of that?
Well, I think it's relaxing a little bit. I have a cousin to Crohn's disease, and I can't pronounce what it is. But the medicine they were giving me was causing arthritis. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm in a state with medical. And when I left L.A. in '93, I kind of let that all go. And I got sick the other day, and it was like, so I thought, okay, I did my little medical, and then bam, I pumped out like 20 pages of edit. I was like, okay, I just needed to relax a little bit, Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I did a little medical, and I was just like relaxed enough that I could work a lot. And I think a part of it is being in a creative environment. Like today, for example, talking to Bleecker, because those are creative people. Mm-hmm. And like you and Jeremy and other people are creative people, and you can pull from each other and encourage each other, and you get that feel of energy. And the situation I'm in now, I'm in like a farming community.
Right.
So, and my nephew reads my stuff, but, he's not home a lot because he travels. So, I don't have that creative input around me that I can pull from, for the energy.
Right. Yeah, Southern California is really good for that, or California in general. There's so many people that you can just hang out with and just talk, and you know what I mean? And that kind of environment is where we are here for the creative juices, and to promote that, to keep your mind moving forward. It's getting stagnant out here is kind of difficult. Yeah.
And I think that, in the situation right now, I can get stagnant real quick if I don't pay attention. But like getting out, I never get out and do anything. And going out today for the first time in like a year and a half to go see a concert, it was a small one, 100 people or so. It was still good for me.
Yeah.
To get around the energy, and they were grateful enough, that they sat down and talked to me for a while, and the singer and I talked for a good half an hour.
Right.
And then again, they were into UFOs, aliens, and all that kind of stuff. So that was cool too. And I think, like you said at one time before, the generation that's coming up now, being that age and teens, is that's our strong point there. And if somebody doesn't listen, you tell them watch this documentary or read this book or whatever, move on to somebody else. Eventually, you spread the word.
That's exactly right, Casper. Words of wisdom, my friend. And I want to thank you for calling in tonight, man, and hanging out. You're the best, Casper.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the parking lot of a supermarket right now, actually. I was on talk. I was listening to TalkStream Live and go, I got to call in.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Casper. Safe travels home, my friend.
All right, bye.
You got it. Casper Parks, Jeremy, Lockyer Corbell, and Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to take a quick break, and more of your phone calls are next. I'll be right back.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
Levels of Power. Fact or fiction. Author Mike Gilmore brings political thrillers aligned with the latest news stories direct from our nation's capital. Immigration and border security. High tension in Southeast Asia. A Supreme Court nomination. Follow Senator Randy Fisher through the halls of power as he confronts the issues that affect our everyday lives. Fast-paced political thrillers. Levels of Power. Discover more at michaelgilmore1.com or amazon.com. Get hooked today.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to jimmychurchradio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. What a great night tonight. Thank you for all the phone calls tonight. But, we're heading out to Contact in the Desert tomorrow. And, everybody that called in tonight that is going to be speaking there, it's just going to be a great event. But the event cannot happen without this young man right here. And the producer of Contact in the Desert, Paul Andrews. Paul Andrews, how are you?
Good, Jimmy. How about yourself? I'm here with Tim as well.
Tim Gunn. My man.
Good evening, Jimmy. Jimmy Church, how are you?
Tim, the most professional man in show business right there. Now,
there's nobody in the consciousness field, Jimmy, that Tim doesn't know.
He is so polite. And part of it is his accent, Paul. You know that, right? So he's got that going.
I know.
But what a professional Tim is, and it's an honor to have both of you on the show. But Paul, I have to ask you. Here we go. It kicks off tomorrow. Kicks off officially Friday, but the events start tomorrow for you. How you doing, man? How are you doing?
Well, Jimmy, it's always butterflies before the event, but we have the whole team on the ground here preparing for the show. We have near perfect weather. We've got all our shade structures up. We've got our night vision area all set up. We're primed and ready, and hoping that this year is like last year. We'll have some live sightings, which you have been wonderful to chronicle. And we're expecting some more of those this season. I know you've talked to Stephen Greer about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing that Tim and I want to communicate about this event is that it's a participatory event. People come and we participate. People don't just sit around. We're watching the sky. We're feeling the energy. Our feet are touching the ground. A lot of people walk around without their shoes so they can feel connected to the high voltage energy that is Joshua Tree.
That is the 33-degree parallel, Jimmy.
100%, and that is an extraordinary thought. If you really, those of us in the paranormal or the fringe or the alt world, we all get that, right? But for those that don't, and you look at the 33rd and go around planet Earth and look at the things that are there, right there, it is way beyond coincidence.
That's right, and that's what you and Dr. Greer were addressing last Friday on Coast to Coast.
It is a trippy thing. I've had so many guests on the show, not only Greer, but all of the great researchers. They go out to a spot on planet Earth. It's like, pick a spot. It doesn't matter. And they're out there researching, and the next thing they realize is they're on the 33rd. It's like crazy.
No, that's it.
It's magical, Jimmy, and somehow people, without even realizing it, they're caught up in the energy. Call it a vortex, call it what you will, but somehow the energy empowers people to open up, and they have experiences because they are open.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, and E.T. seems to have picked up on it at some point too.
Jim, we believe that. Okay, we believe, Victoria and I and Tim, that we are in the center of the most active ET vortex sighting area in North America,
if not the world. Right.
If not the world. And it's the reason that we hold the show here. And it is the reason that people, since the 1940s, have been coming here for the very first UFO conventions. So in a very real way, we're continuing a tradition of sightings and participation and interactive experiences with non-terrestrial beings that has been going on for a long, long time, and we're just the latest iteration of that. And I really celebrate the fact that you recognize that, Jimmy, and that you've been such a key part of allowing this event to unfold. We deeply appreciate it.
Jimmy's an integral part of the event now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thank you for that, and that's great, and that's humbling, and thank you. But to be honest with you, it's the people, it is the audience, it's the fans that all come together, and the vibe that they create spreads out, and the event has gotten bigger and bigger on its own. Well, you and Tim and Victoria and Crystal and the crew and everybody that is involved, if we have a small piece and part of it, that's great. But the bottom line for all of this is, Paul, you don't have a gig without the fans. You know, Tim doesn't have I don't have a gig if it's not for the fans and the people that get together and they recognize the community that is being built around us, and that's the bottom line for all of us, isn't it?
It is,
absolutely,
Jimmy. And it's also the sum of the parts, Jimmy. You know, the speakers that comprise the program.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exceptional program. I mean, it's the best of the best, and it's the synergism of this program that draws the people to it. You know, and we're likely to have a sellout crowd again this year, probably upwards of 3,000 people, you know, and they come from all parts of the country. I flew in to Palm Springs here this afternoon, and on the plane with me, and it was only a small puddle jumper, there were 5 people along with myself on this puddle jumper, and they come from all corners of North America.
Oh, I can top that. I can top that.
From the Outer Banks and Florida and Atlanta and all points, Jimmy.
Yeah,
it's just remarkable just to be at Contact.
Yeah, check this out, Tim. Today on my Facebook thread, got a picture from Hong Kong from a friend at the gate right there, Los Angeles, and he goes, "I'm on my way to Contact in the desert." What, you know? and I'm just like, wow. Yeah. And if I see you tomorrow, Chuck, who's flying out, he's got a radio show and TV show out there in Hong Kong called MJ13, dealing with the paranormal and ufology. But I'll introduce you to Chuck tomorrow. He's a really, really, really cool guy. But now I wanted to ask you this. On Tuesday, right, it's going to be behind us. And you start working on next year's event on Tuesday. Well, if not today, but on Tuesday, it's a day-to-day thing for you to put the next year's event together and make it bigger and better and more successful than this year.
That's how this one happened, Jimmy. We started on this one, fully 11 months ago.
Right.
And now we just now arrived on site. It's about to happen. But we've not stopped. The production hasn't stopped, Jimmy, since you guys left the site last year.
Well, Tim's right, Jim. We work hard on this, and we want the people who come to have a fun, interactive, uplifting, mind-opening, mind-bending experience. And it's a wonderful community of people that come to the event. Very friendly group. We have good food. It's exciting.
People feel themselves to be extended family when they come here. It's remarkable. You know, there's the energy, again, the synergism amongst the attendees is remarkable.
It is.
You know, they feel themselves to be almost like a brotherhood, a family at large when they come here.
Jimmy, there's a communion. There's no question about it.
You check your attitude at the door.
Yeah, right. Your attitude at the door. Well, I'll tell you something, Jimmy. There were over 100 people. Some of them were skeptics, but when they looked up in the sky and they saw those 5 craft come down, all that skepticism melted away. And a lot of the people wrote about their experiences, and they sent them to us, and we put them up on our website. And, you know, we're hoping we have the same group of people coming to call those craft in.
And you know when that happened? It happened on George Noory's birthday, when we, Paul and I, and many of us were celebrating with George his birthday. Others that were out there had this wonderful sighting.
The funny thing about that, George was just on the show, you two, just a few minutes ago, and we were talking. And we were talking about that. Now, if you remember, last year during the party, Paul had gotten up and was thanking everybody, right? And we were, it was George's birthday party, and we were doing our thing up and off the stage, and happy birthday. And then the midway point, and this is how it went down, Paul. I'll remind both you and Tim about this. At the midway point, we had to clear the tables out to get ready for the band and dancing, right? So as that goes down, Rita gets a text. That was at 9 o'clock. Rita gets this text. UFOs, man. UFOs over at Orion's Lookout. And I turned, and so Rita and I was like, oh, do we blow out George's birthday? Right? And,
You're right.
we cut and ran when nobody was looking, and George and I were just talking about that a few minutes ago. But that's the magic of Joshua Tree. You know, it went down. It really went down.
It really went down. It's pure magic out here. It's real. It's experiential. The weather's going to be beautiful, and you know, George, of course, will be there. We're excited about that. Jimmy, we're so honored that you're coming. We've got Clyde Lewis coming also, another radio personality. And, you know, you guys are like the bedrock of the show.
Thank you so much for that. And now I know you guys need your rest. And thank you both for coming on and taking the time. And, of course, I'm going to force you into coming on the show Friday night to do a drive-by and say hello to everybody. But in the meantime,
we're honored.
We'd
Jimmy,
love to do
honored.
it again.
Yeah,
Honored,
yeah, absolutely. So go and say hi to everybody.
Jimmy.
What's that?
It was fun doing it with you last year.
Oh, man.
We'd love to do it
That was the highlight of the night. Are you kidding me? So, anyway, go say hi to everybody and just let them know. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Get some rest because you're going to need it over the next 4 days. All right? And we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
And the skies are crystal clear, Jimmy. It's beautiful out there.
Beautiful weather.
I can't believe the forecast. It's going to be wonderful this weekend. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night at the reception.
You're there, Jimmy. Thank you for everything.
We'll see you tomorrow night at the reception.
You bet. Take care, buddy.
Good night, Tim. Good night, Paul.
Good night, Jimmy.
There you go. Paul Andrews and Tim Gunn, and Victoria, and of course, you know, Crystal, the producers of the event, and it's going to be a great time. And I can't even think about how tired those guys are to come on this show at 9:30 at night because they've been out there all week setting up, certainly all year. And I just want to thank them for taking the time to come on tonight because they're very excited, you know, to have the Fadernauts out there and everybody else that is supporting Contact in the Desert because it is a huge, huge event. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Tim. They were on with us last year, by the way, on Friday night, and I really look forward to doing it. I don't know how. Let me tell you how cool Paul is. I don't know how they find the energy, but Paul, every time that Rita and I run into him in public and stuff throughout the year, he is constantly working on Contact in the Desert. He's got these ideas. He's got these things. So we were at a conference a couple of months ago. Paul's there. And also there is River Moon Coffee, right? Juanita and Jeff are there. And one thing led to another over a brief conversation between Paul, as I introduced him to Juanita and Jeff, and immediately Paul and Juanita and Jeff put the package together. He's like, you've got to come out. I'll make whatever it takes. We've got to have River Moon there. And just like that, that's what Paul is like. Always forward thinking. This is a community. This is family. Let's all do this together. And now River Moon Coffee is going to be there along with, of course, the Faded Black Blend, but it's about the family, right? It's about the family getting together. So as this event unfolds over the next few days, I just want you to get the understanding of why we're so excited about this. It's us. You know, it's all friends and family, and we just get together, and the event just happens to be humongo, ginormous. But on the inside, it's just this group of friends, the Fadernauts and everybody out there that are fans, and everybody just knows everybody. And just like Paul said, it's just a wonderful community. As big as it is, it's really, really cool. So there you go. Tickets and info, if you guys can still make it, just go to jimmychurchradio.com and click on the Contact in the Desert banner. Certainly, if you're going to be in the area, if you're in Southern California, you're in Arizona, Nevada, Las Vegas, and you were thinking about it, you were contemplating about it, it's an easy drive. Just jump in the car and go. And come and hang out with us. All right? There's room, always room for a few more. All right. Oh, man, we're winding on down here. 323-825-5045 and 323-275-9695. All right. I wanted to share this. Check this out. And I've got a bunch of really cool emails here. Rita, let me get to this. There is, man, this is huge. Okay. All right. Should I talk about this, Rita? The UFOs near Pittsburgh. Hit me right now and let me know. Man, something is going on here. Let me try this one more time. Nope, ain't happening. All right, let's just go back to the phones. I can't get my messenger to work for some reason. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. It's Jim, JK from New York.
Hey, JK from New York. How are you?
Great.
What's cracking? Hey, in your, I want to ask you,
yes.
In your, because I see you in the chat room, right?
Uh-huh.
Is that a guitar? What is that?
Oh, you didn't click on it. It's actually, it is. It's a picture. It's an album cover.
Of what?
It's 1973. It's like a British rock band from back then called Bebop Deluxe.
Oh, Bebop Deluxe.
That's their first album.
Yeah, I knew that, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But also, it's small. Yeah, I didn't click on it. Bebop Deluxe, man. That was a band.
Axe Victim. That's the album name, and the first song, that's the best song on it.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, in the mid-'70s, somebody came up to me and goes, man, screw Black Sabbath, man. Bebop Deluxe. Right? I totally remember that. Yeah. He was a couple of years older than me, and I was all intimidated. The old guy, the 18-year-old at the music store that knew every album in the history of man, and you're like 15 years old going in for the tips on the next big thing. You know what I'm talking about. Man, I miss those days, right? Well, it was one of those cats. Bebop Deluxe, man, it's the secret stuff, man. You got to check this out. So, anyway, JK.
They're different. They got some weird songs on there, but they're good musicians and songwriters anyway.
So what's on your mind tonight? We're almost at the end of the show, and you've called in. Yeah. So what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to point, I won't get too in-depth on it here, but it concerns two of your favorite things, music and alien contact via crop circles.
Okay.
What this researcher, I have a book I haven't read in 10 years by Colin Wilson.
Yeah, Colin Wilson, yes.
Colin Wilson, yeah. He, one of the chapters is called Crop Circles and Frozen Music. Now, in there, he states how, the Doug and Dave guys that supposedly made all the crop circles.
Right.
None of the ones they made have diatonic ratios in them. And the ones he investigated over so many years, like 2/3 of them do. And I guess they have some, they're trying to communicate some, I can't get into all the details, but one thing he found out was when you lay out, it's the same way for a guitar, but on a piano, you have the low C going up to the high C. The ratios are using 440 at A. You give C a value of 1, which is 264, and it goes up. The increments aren't logical, and it blows my mind because D is 297, but the difference from C to D as a whole step is 33, 264 to 297.
Okay.
Then the next from D to E, that's also a whole step. That's also 33 vibration or cycles per second. So you would logically think from E to F as a half step. What's half of 33? Well, it's not 16.5. It's 20. The actual value of the difference is 22, which makes then it gets even stranger. When you go from F to G, which is a whole step, it's not 33 like it was from C to D and D to E. It's 44.
That's right.
And from G to A is also 44. Then you get from A to B, which is also a whole step. That's 55.
Mm-hmm.
And then from B to C, which is a half step, it's 33, where the first two numbers I told you were whole steps. They're also 33, but B to C is a half step. That's also 33.
But it's a B step, but it's a half step but a whole note.
Yeah. And the number, you know what I mean? That the fractions are weird. I mean, is it human ears? Is it DNA? Is it music is just stranger than we think? Or
well, I used to always trip on that, and it's funny that you're bringing that up because E to F and B to C always messed with my head.
Yeah.
Right? But musically, it works, but it shouldn't, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at a guitar, the frets.
Then it throws you completely off.
Because the distances get smaller by physically the frets, but yet the vibrations per second or whatever are totally different ratios.
But you go over to a piano on the white keys, right? Okay, it makes sense. But when you move it over to a guitar and you are trying to work, especially if you're a guitar player and you go to a piano, it doesn't make any sense. And if you're a pianist or keyboardist and you try to flip over to guitar, it messes you up because it is not the same. It's not. But music, your ears, it's the same. But it's trippy, man. It's trippy. I don't even know how guitar players learn how to play guitar. A keyboard is laid out and it makes sense. You've got the half steps and you've got the whole, and you got the black keys and the white keys and boom, and you got octaves right in front of you, and you could just, mathematically and logic comes into play. You move all of that over to a guitar, especially when you're looking at things like the B and E string. With the G string right there, the tuning is just completely whacked out. It doesn't make any sense. And then the way that the fretboard is laid out, and you have these half steps that are whole notes, it's just confusing. It's not all the same like it is on a piano.
Yeah, that kind of really, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how we got off.
I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I can't either. The guitar makes sense to me. I can't play the piano or keyboards to save my life. It's really weird. I have the most difficult time. Well, JK, thank you for calling in, my friend. I love talking a little music and a little UFO. That's the best part of this show. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Have a good night and have a good time of contact in the desert.
And we'll see you Friday night on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You got it. JK from New York, everybody, wrapping up another fabulous Fader night. Thank you guys so much. And obviously, I got to get out of here, close down the bunker, pack up gear, and get ready to hit the road tomorrow. And Rita and I are going to arrive in Joshua Tree tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see everybody there. Until then, good night, everybody. We'll see everybody Friday night here on Fade to Black and in between the Joshua Tree Saloon tomorrow night. All right, all of you Fadernauts, travel safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show's produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar. Thanks to LJ3, Renee, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew, the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Clyde Lewis, Mike Bara, George Noory, Jeremy Corbell, Paul Andrews, Tim Gunn. If I've forgotten somebody, of course, Casper Parks. Thank you, everybody that called in tonight. And we'll see all of you over in Joshua Tree. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. We'll see everybody tomorrow night, Joshua Tree. Everybody be safe. Go Backley Tappy.